look at what's happening in the world, it's like pretty empty.
That game does not look like it's current gen only, right? It does not look good, dog.
What game you talking
about? Forspoken, Flop Spoken.
That game does not look good. I'm like, how are you current?
I just got my Game Informer. I was reading.
Yeah, I got that.
You got it.
Yeah. I'm like, man, I think it needs to get delayed, man. At least to like spring of next year or something.
They delayed it because they got to work on the performance issues with that game because that leaked gameplay from a couple months ago was really, really rough. You know, now it's looking better in terms of performance from what they're showing from the Game Informer shit, but even then, man, I don't know. That's $70 for that.
Yeah, it definitely that might be a sale. I might get that on the sale.
That game ain't day one.
Really?
I'll buy Hogwarts Legacy first.
No, I don't believe you. I don't believe y'all. That game gonna come out and it's gonna be the biggest game available on PlayStation at the time that's released. And dude's gonna be like, yeah. Dre gonna have the platinum in about freaking 8 days. Like, so I don't know if I see that.
It just don't look good to me. It don't look good to me, dog. Now, if it ain't like, if it's like nothing to play, then that might be like an impulse buy.
You gotta have plenty to play, but that open world, there's nothing happening.
It looks
nothing.
barren.
It's barren.
Dry.
Unless you've seen like an enemy, there's no other like NPCs or AI in the background doing anything. Like there's no wildlife. You out here walking through these forests and stuff. Like, yo, what? You in a whole nother world? It's supposed to be like a fantasy.
Yeah, I'm like, what is PlayStation looking at in these? Because PlayStation been losing when it comes to these timed exclusives, man. Not like that, but like Forspoken ain't.
Some of them are L's. Some of them are L's.
I don't know what Deathloop was a Game of the Year nominee. I don't understand what the issues y'all having with like Forspoken looks dope as hell. It looks like that Lumens demo you guys are all hyping about, that Unreal Engine 5 demo. It looks exactly like that. It's just a little floaty. Like that's all. just a little
floaty.
I don't know. It's just like really like floaty. Honestly, it looks like Final Fantasy 15 reskin. That's
yeah,
that's what it looks like.
Yeah, like a faster Final Fantasy 15 with more mechanics.
You say you don't think
I don't know, man. I dropped 15. 15.
Nah, 15
was right.
Nah,
15
I did not fuck with 15, bro. I tried to play 15. I was like, nah.
15 was heat.
Yeah, I like 15 better than a 7 remake.
You're bugging, bro. 7. What?
Yeah, man.
I forgot.
No, I forgot you said that. I forgot you had that opinion. I remember you said that before.
I couldn't get down with
ass cheeks, bro.
Nah, you crazy, dog.
Did you try 7 on PS1?
Hold on. Without knowing anybody's background, I guarantee the people who like 15, that's their first Final Fantasy game they beat. Without knowing anybody's background.
Yep, that's his first game. That's his first game.
Exactly.
Nah. So from playing 7 and trying to play 15, like I couldn't get with 15 at all. Like 7 just has a way better story. The gameplay mechanics in 7's that game is fire. I don't know. That was
7 was amazing. The only thing that was wrong with 7 for me personally was the level design was very basic.
It's pretty linear, but it was made on PS4 though. Like
it's not even the linear part because most Final Fantasy games are linear. At least like all the old school ones. It's not even the linear part. It's just like designing the level for it's interesting to traverse through. But the combat and the characters carried it through, right? That's what carried it through. But it's like, the level here, turn off the switch here. And then go over here, kill this enemy, and you know what I mean. It's like they kind of fixed that a little bit when it came to the DLC with Yuffie. It had a little bit more interactivity. You were running up walls, and she was shooting her stars and shit like that. But the next one shouldn't have that problem because the next one should be more open. It's not gonna be full open world, but it's gonna be
more open.
The zones are gonna be like huge, on Unreal Engine 5.
All right, so welcome everyone to Planet Xbox 98. Oh. I'm your host of Best Spot Kiss Movie. Yeah, we've been live for like a couple. So they caught that take. So you might get some questions in the chat about that. I'm your host of Best Spot Kiss Move. We're joined here by Sir Dre the Great.
Going on. Appreciate you for letting me come through, man.
I appreciate you coming. Last week we were short staffed like a mug. So
yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
And we got Dopest J. He let us know 10 minutes before posting the picture at the bar. Or at a dinner. That's what last Wednesday. That's what you were doing. You were at like a restaurant.
I was at the restaurant. Then I went to the bar.
Then you went to the bar.
Yeah,
a little alcoholic.
I'm an alcoholic, man. I'm just chilling. Like I'm just chilling, man. But yeah, great to be back with you guys talking about video games.
Okay,
let me get on with you.
And we got Sleepy Joe. My bad.
Yeah,
NickBanks, what's up, man?
What's good, man? I gotta hurry up before I fall asleep in this mother.
What's going on, man? Coffee.
You know what? That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. What's up? And we got Chris Righteous, man. I mean, it's been. I mean, you got to fill us in. I mean, we anticipating. You know what I mean? People are talking. The streets are talking. So let's see. I want to hear Chris's input today a lot. But Chris, man, how are you doing? What are you playing?
I'm still, I'm still heavily invested into that game of the year, baby. That Elden Ring. You know what I mean? That Gotti 2022.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm still, because I've been helping out my brother a lot too. Mm-hmm. So I've been doing a lot of, and I farm for rune arcs. Mm-hmm. When you do co-op, you get rune arcs. So that's how I've been farming for them. But that, and I mean that's pretty. Oh yeah, Triangle Strategy as well on the Switch. And then I bought a couple of games off of that PSN sale. It was like a huge PSN sale that was going on this March Madness or whatever. So I know I got the Devil May Cry Definitive Edition for like $20. I got It Takes Two finally.
Okay.
That was on sale for like $15. Me and my wife started playing it, and so far it's actually really dope. So far, with me and my wife, we actually been playing it. And then I got another indie game, Anu Mutation, was is one of those PlayStation indie exclusive from like the China Hero projects or whatever. But I haven't started that one yet. But yeah, I mean, other than that, and pissing off a lot of PlayStation dudes last week. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about because you had a big take a couple of days ago. You had a thread that you posted, which was your displeasure about how, I guess, the reaction to Elden Ring, I guess the hypocrisy and criticism, I should say. It was it's
just Elden Ring. I mean, Elden Ring, that was the main catalyst and the main focus.
It was just the biggest example, but yeah.
Yeah, what about it? What do you want to ask?
I just want you to, elaborate, because you had the thread. It got, a lot of responses to it from what I saw. Very polarizing.
I even did a space further explaining it and letting anybody in there that wanted to address anything.
Yeah, I missed this. I definitely missed the space, but I thought I had to retweet the post. Because people were happy about that. Yeah. But what really prompted you to pretty much put that together? Is it because you were in the middle of playing, like, let's say a game like Elden Ring and whatnot, or is it just like something you was just thinking? Like, what really prompted that?
It's just something that I've noticed for a while. Like I understand like the Xbox shit is whatever. Like we joke on Xbox, blah blah blah, whatever. But it's just something that I noticed for a while. It's like, yo, whenever there's a game that's not made from a first party, and it's not. And here's the thing: there's a couple of things I wanted to like retract from that thread. Is I meant to say PlayStation fanboys and not the PS community, right? Because it's not the entire PS community at all. Mm-hmm. It's the shit that we see, Smooth. And then some of the comparisons as well when people is like they're complaining about repeated bosses in Elden Ring, but then there's other games that have repeated enemies and bosses and they don't say a goddamn thing, you know. But it was mainly about like pointing out like the inconsistencies that I see a lot when it comes to games that aren't PS exclusives. That for some reason, if they get higher Metacritic scores, or they get praised more or something, or stuff like that. It's like, they always some of these people always seem to like downplay it, and to me, I was like, yo, I thought PS dudes, right, or the PS fanboys kept it real. If there's like a really dope ass game that can be on par or receive better than a PlayStation first party game, like we're gonna keep it real. We're gonna keep it real and shit like that. So I always noticed that, like with Breath of the Wild, like listen, like most people that slander Breath of the Wild, like is usually the PlayStation dudes, like the people who were slandering Metroid last year, saying, "Oh, it's an indie game and it shouldn't be worth the $60 or whatever," right? And that's cool to have that opinion, but then when you ask them, "Do you have a Switch?" No. Were you gonna pick up Metroid if it was $30? No. So why the fuck are you complaining? So it's just like a lot of different inconsistencies and shit like that. And listen, I'm not perfect too. I've done inconsistent shit. Like I'm not like everybody has, and whatever, right? Some people like pointed the finger or wanted to make it about me or some shit like that. But yeah, it was just like a lot of shit that I see, and I feel like, yo, if we can call out all the other communities, we need to call out some of the bullshit that happens in our community and whatnot. And that's essentially what was the post essentially about. It wasn't directed towards everybody, even though some people responded, blah, blah, blah. But we talked about it, and I'm glad that Ash and Luca came up there, right? Because she said the same thing. It's like, as long as I've been following bots and ponies, it's like usually when the ponies don't like to give other game credits that gets received better than, a PlayStation. Yeah, first party games and stuff like that, right? The other games that are actually good. That's the thing. It's like you don't have to, and they try to make it about like, oh, I was like angry and pissed off and sensitive that people are criticizing Elden Ring, and that was never the case, because I've had 2 Elden Ring spaces where plenty of people had come in there, address their issues. I have just plenty of issues that I had with Elden Ring and other podcasts and stuff like that, right? Keeping real pop-ins, frame rate issues. You can't ride on your horse when you do co-op, right? Shit like that, right? So I'll adjust them too. And but they some of them think that I'm just like on the full defense. And if I fuck with a game, I go hard for it. Like Final Fantasy VII Remake, I went at everybody. You know what I mean? Breath of the Wild, I go at everybody and shit like that. So but that's just like me passionate about like the shit that I love. So I fuck with a game, I go hard for it. It doesn't matter like what the criticism are. Because a lot of the criticisms are fair, like when it pertains to Elden Ring. But for some reason, but these people who were coming at me and saying, well, we just keeping it real by calling the issues on Elden Ring and blah blah blah. But then when I check their profile, they have no flaws pointed out for Horizon Forbidden West, right? And I love that game, 9 out of 10, right? Game of the Year contender. But that game had flaws as well too. So you don't see them talk about no flaws, and then they come at me talking about, "Oh, why you ain't pointing out the flaws in Elden Ring and shit like that?" Like, bro, I didn't even point out the flaws in Horizon Forbidden West, and nobody asked me why. You know what I mean? Nobody asked me about why. I did a little tweet. I praised. I was like, "Yo, this shit is amazing, 9 out of 10." I didn't do no pros and cons. I just said overall my gaming experience simplified. What is a 9 out of 10? And I put some screenshots or whatever. And when I talk about Elden Ring, they're talking about, well, you need to keep it real and point out the flaws and shit like that. But it was like, you didn't ask me the same thing. And I pointed out, and I've been more vocal about Elden Ring because I love it more than I have with Horizon Forbidden West. But I mean, but that's neither here nor there. It was funny watching all the Xbox people cheer me on, like, yeah. I'm like, bro, y'all worse. Like, yeah, some of y'all say even do. Nah, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say it. It's bad on both sides, right? And it can get pretty even, on both sides when it comes to some of their bullshit. Some people will do it the extreme, obviously, like Dr. Pony, right, in the surgery room and all that shit, right? But it was just me just complaining about some of the BS I see in the community. That's all. And of course, people didn't like it, didn't take it, but I wasn't really too worried about it. None of these PlayStation dudes can expose me or pull my point. Like, they can't, because they know I buy and beat my games. They know I play all these PlayStation exclusives and I'm there day one. You know what I mean? You're like when we argue here, whenever like people are complaining about all the bullshit with PlayStation, when it's like SSD installation and screw and $70 games and shit like that, I'm always the one that's like, yo, this shit's not even a big a deal or whatever. Yeah. So they can't expose me with anything because they know my shit is out there and they know I play and beat all these PlayStation games, and I always praise them, as well too. But this is how you know I'm a gamer first and a PlayStation fan second, right? Because I praise Breath of the Wild, and the Switch is not my primary platform. I'm praising this multi-plat Elden Ring, Shin Megami Tensei 5 last year and shit like that. Like, if I fuck with a game, I fuck with a game. Like, it don't matter what platform is it on. You know what I mean? I'm just honest with the games that I fuck with, and if I really fuck with it, it doesn't. If I think Breath of the Wild is better than God of War, Spider-Man, Last of Us 2 and shit like that, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna be honest, and that's how I feel. A lot of people are gonna disagree and not agree. You don't have to agree with me, but it's like, but sometimes it's like, PlayStation isn't the only company or only publisher that puts out the best games that can receive Game of the Year candidates and nominations and shit like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Speaking of Elden Ring, I've finally finished it. Well, I ain't finished it because there's so many things you can do. Obviously, I didn't get the 100% completion, but I got to the end, the boss, and the credits, and that's all I care about. And it took me literally a whole freaking calendar month to fucking beat that game. So good thing I didn't do a challenge on that one, because it wouldn't.
The game is freaking huge, and I guarantee you, Smooth, you probably still missing like 30 or 40%.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Of the rest of the game.
Yeah, because when I looked at the like where my achievement, I was like, damn, only like 39% of like the complete. I'm like, that isn't like I didn't. All right, so I got one part of the map that I'm missing. I got all the touchstones in the area. I just can't get to the area where the shard is to unlock the map. So there's one part of the map that I have that's grayed out. I know there's bosses that I haven't touched. I went to a challenge. I went to some freaking this area, and this dude like freaking 2-piece me. I was like, okay, so I'm like, there's still areas like I've seen people fight things that I'm like, where do you even get to that point, right? And then I fought things that people are like, hey, where did you fight this person at? And so it's like I don't even know where I haven't been yet. Because this game is bigger. Even when you look at the map, right? The game is bigger than what the map is, because I forget about the underground areas, like that. And there's multiple of those in there in each area.
Yeah, the underground areas, and then the underground areas, and then the areas that are underground under the undergrounds, and then the areas in the skies and shit like that. Yeah, so.
Yeah, so they got tombs. They got tombs in that.
Yeah, it's so much
cemeteries.
So it's like,
and it's like you get like the shit that fucking it blew my mind, because like I got to this one area. I don't want to spoil for anybody, but like I got to this one. I found this like underground area, and it's like a huge fucking like this underground like city looking thing with like stars and shit like that, right? Yep. And I explored the fuck out of it, and I explored the shit out of it, right? Every nook and cranny. I was like, all right, I'm fully done. I beat the boss or whatever. I'm fully done with this area and shit like that. Then I beat a boss. Some event happens, and then I go back to the area, and there's a whole new fucking another part of that shit that's even bigger. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck is this shit? Like 99% of the game, like every 20 to 30 seconds, I'm always like, what the fuck is that? Or where the fuck am I? Or what the hell is it?
Yeah, and I haven't even like I'm not starting a new game plus, because I was like, I feel like with my current like save, I have to go, and if I'm going to do anything, I'm gonna just get everything I possibly can with that build before I start a new game plus. But you want to hear something crazy? I haven't, other than that cheese giant, the sleeping giant, the sleeping dragon where you get all the runes at. I haven't beaten.
Talking about the fire dragon? Oh, yeah. Okay, never mind.
None of the dragons. You know how you get these random dragons that just like come in and it becomes like a boss fight? I haven't beaten any of them. Like, I haven't ever fought any of those dragons. I just kind of just run, because it's like what I do is I'll engage into the fight. They hit me. I see how much damage I take, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, I ain't surviving this. So I just run until they don't catch you ducking the smoke.
All the dragons are optional, but you don't really need to do them unless you're doing like a dragon build, because they drop like those dragon hearts to like, so you can do more like the dragonic type of builds and shit like that, and you can transform into like a little dragonoid, humanoid or whatever. So
gotcha. Yeah, I figured it was something to it, but I did manage to get through those. I think 3 of the Black Blade Kindreds. I don't know how many of them there are, but they're very like the first. Like I first ran into one like early in the game. Dude, like just breathed on me and my health went all the way down to like I was just dead. I was like, yeah, I'll see you in about 70 hours. I'm not going back, and that's what I did. I waited till I was like 100 and like 50 level before I went back and tried to fight that thing again. But the game is pretty good. It is really good. I mean, I was tripping on it when it first came out. But that's literally mostly these From Software games that I do try, and like the early goings is pretty rough, and once everything's set in, then I can say I have some competence in it. I can do it, but this one, like I literally played for like a month, and couldn't really play anything else. I forgot what my like final time readout was. It was probably I think at like 84 hours or so like that. But and I'm nowhere near as close to a platinum or 100% completion. So that's the triggering part. And then hearing that there's like multiple endings you can like achieve is like, well, damn.
Yeah, there's well, I know for you to get the platinum, you needed to do at least three of the main endings, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's more endings than just 3. But not only that, there's like multiple because you would think, right, like the way the game sets up as far as like trying to guide you to a recommended direction. You don't never have to, you can go wherever you want, right? But it kind of guides you to where it's recommended you that you should go from here to there or whatever. And then there's certain parts where you can't progress unless you either have 2 medallions or something else, right? And I was like, all right, I need to find these things, but there are different paths that you can surpass that. Like when you needed the 2 medallions to go on the cliff.
Yep.
There's a whole different path. And the same thing with Stormville, like Godric, when you don't even have to fight Godric. Like there's a whole path that leads around that and stuff like that. And plus different dialogue options that you get with certain characters causes different things to happen. Some characters will die if you don't make the right decisions, and some characters, you get new characters, and some characters come out at night, and certain this is fucking. I love it, man. It's absolutely amazing. It's definitely going to be my game of the year. But I'm a huge From Software fan, so. But even with me being biased, right? Of course, I'm biased towards From Software because that's like one of my favorite companies or whatever. It's the fact that it's not. I see a whole bunch of other people that are typically new or not that into From Software games that are also playing this game and really enjoying it and really loving it as well. So that's how you know the game is special. And a lot of people, and some people are not gonna really like it that much. Some people are just gonna play it and be like, yeah, this is overrated. I don't really like it or whatever. But that's I mean, every game is always going to have people that don't like them. Yeah. But for the most part, most people are really, really enjoying it and really giving the game credit, aside from a certain group of people that for some reason, they just mad because, I guess it outscored Horizon or some shit like that. But
yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
This is that the crossover is where like pretty much the casuals bought into this one. So like you said, this game's probably gonna have like a high return rate because a lot of people don't know what they're getting into. It's like the same thing with The Witcher. When The Witcher 3 comes out, right? And you have a lot of people who buy the game who's never even heard of it or never played the first 2 games, and their first game is the third one. So that's why it has like this crazy growth in sales. But I feel like it's been like a steady growth, and then Chris, you can correct me if I'm wrong, with each game that they release, just having that like mass appeal. But I think it started. Obviously, it didn't start, but you had. I know Demon Souls is a pretty old game. You got the Dark Souls, but each Dark Souls kind of grew. You got Bloodborne, and then Sekiro happened, and that kind of got a jump. And then it leads to this game, which sells triple the amount of any of the other games.
Like the highest selling From Software game was Dark Souls 3, and it sold 10 million, but it took 4 years to hit 10 million. And Elden Ring did that in like a week and a half,
which is crazy. which is crazy, especially for that type of game. Dre, man,
and these games, my bad, but these games have always. That's like nobody should be surprised that it's received well because there isn't a Souls game or FromSoftware game starting from Demon Souls in 2009 that's under 89. You know, that's under 89. Like even from the first game, Demon Souls had like a 90 on Metacritic. There was no fans or anything like that to be, you know, like from a previous series. That was the first one.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of new people, new journalists. When Dark Souls came to the Xbox, that was the first time I played it in 2011. There was a whole bunch of new people played it, and they were always received well. You know, and they kept going. And Bloodborne, a lot of people started with Bloodborne as well. You know, and then it got up to Sekiro. Sekiro finally won, you know, Game of the Year and shit like that. So it was always a build up.
I'm gonna try to download some of these games, Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, and see if being that Sekiro is still fresh to me, to see if I can actually get down with one of those games. Like, you know what I mean? I know I did Bloodborne and Sekiro, but I really I've been running from like Dark Souls, and I don't. Do I own Demon Souls? I don't.
Start with Dark Souls 3. Because Dark Souls 3 out of all of them, except, you know, prior to Elden Ring, right?
Which one's the shortest?
Dark Souls 3. The shortest will probably be
the first one.
I don't know, because I feel like the first one may be just as long as 3. Because I know 2 is longer than 1 and 3 because 2 had the most areas.
Okay. Well, I know
Bloodborne I think will probably be one of the shorter ones.
Yeah, but
actually, no. I did
Bloodborne in 40 hours. That was the challenge.
Demon Souls is the shortest one.
Oh,
Demon Souls is the shortest one, and it's one of the easier ones as well too. It is the easiest one.
You know, I'm gonna buy Demon Souls on the PS5, and I'm gonna buy Dark
remake.
I gotta see Dark Souls 3. I know Dark Souls 3 is at least FPS boosted, so I'm gonna try to get and see why I still have the juice. That's why. That's the only way. Because once I let time go by between this game and the next, I'm gonna get like kind of like Souls remedial again. Like I have to like continue. I have to play fresh off. So I'm gonna challenge myself and see if I can do it. And if I feel good like earlier in the game, I might stream. But Dre, man, what are you playing? Did you jump on Elden Ring yet or no? Or,
nah, fuck that game.
What game did you have to pretty much determine like, hey, this is the game of the month that I'm playing?
Wait, hold on. What you mean by that?
Like, what are you playing? Because you ain't playing Elden Ring. I'm just trying to figure out what else is there to play.
I am playing Ghostwire Tokyo.
Oh, yes. Tell me about it. Sell me on this game, sir.
It's a decent game. It ain't nothing too crazy. It got a cool story. I don't want to spoil the story, but it's a cliche story. The gameplay is really the selling point of the game because it got that BioShock vibe to it with all the with the weaving signs and the elements and stuff like that. And so it reminds me of BioShock, but then the open world reminds me of a Far Cry, right? So Far Cry, that's my game. That I play those type of games. So
okay.
I'm digging this one. So, but I mean, it's got its issues. It got its performance issues.
What mode are you playing? They got like 7 modes.
Yeah, it got like 6, 7. Yeah. So at first I was playing on performance mode.
Okay.
But then I switched over to high frame rate quality mode, which is basically a 1080p 60 mode with ray tracing. So that's what I've been using for right now. Right now, that's what I've been playing on.
Are you are you playing on TV or a monitor? Because I heard you mention something like.
Yeah. So I'm playing on a monitor right now until these C2s come out, and then I'm gonna get one of them joints and throw it up on the wall and whatnot. But you know what though? I actually thought I was gonna hate playing on a monitor. But it's actually been a pretty cool experience, right? It's a different experience from the television. Like like you feel more immersive in the game because you're like right there, you're like so close to the damn monitor. It's like a different experience than just chilling back on the couch and on the big ass TV, right?
Yeah.
So like it's been cool. It's been cool. I can't complain about that. But what was I about to say? A complaint that I got with this game, right, is that it feels too claustrophobic. It's like they put so much shit in the game, like so many buildings, so many alleyways, so many. It even got a wooded forest and everything. It just feels
so it's really explorable, like really like has a lot of exploration.
It does, but because everything is like so close together, like
that's how Tokyo is, man. It's a city.
Right. Oh, yeah, true that. I guess you're right about that, right? So right now I am going through my platinum run and getting the collectibles, right? And it's a lot of fucking collectibles, though. Like this is it's as bad as Assassin's Creed, right? But Assassin's Creed, it's open, right? It's more open. It's big open field, so it doesn't feel like so closed in on you. But with this, man, everything is just so closed in. It's kind of hard to like get the not get them, but just like everything just feels too there. It's like everything is right there. It kind of gets on my nerves a little bit. But there is verticality in the game, so like you can get onto like these big ass skyscrapers and shit like that. The game, like I said, the gameplay is cool. Story is cool. Graphically, it ain't nothing special. It looks like a PS4 game, if I'm being honest. But it's decent. It's decent. If I had to rate it right now, I'd probably like a 6.5, 7, something like that. You know what I mean?
You got how long did it take? I'm assuming you beat the game, right?
I did not. I did not because there is a trophy that you have to collect all the spirits, right? Before you beat the game, right? And there's a trophy for that. So that's what I'm doing right now. So yeah, but it's not like if I would have ran through the main quest, it probably took me like 6-7 hours. Like it's not a long game at all.
Yeah.
It's just the collectibles that make it seem like this big long game.
How's like the spook factor? Because I know that the characters are like the Grudge and shit in the Ring, and shit is that's what literally kept me from doing a day one from it because I gotta be careful when I play because my wife she ain't feeling stuff like that. So
right, so. It's touted as a horror game, but it's not really. There are some jump scares. Like I don't do horror, right? And I was talking to BG. I was like, "Yo, what kind of horror is this?" He was like, "Man, it's not even a horror game like that." And I was like, "Cool, cool." So yeah, it's not a horror game like that. There is some what do you call this? Some eerie things happens, things of that nature, but. Other than that, it's not scary at all. The enemy designs are okay. There's not a lot of variety in the enemies, but they're okay. They're like faceless. They kind of look like the Slender Man. That thing. They kind of look like that, right? So, but one thing that is cool though is the lore, like of that setting and stuff like that. There's like these, what they call like these mythical creatures and shit like that. Just the lore of that. I don't know if it's Tokyo, right? Yeah, just the lore of Tokyo. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. But enemy variety is not that great. But it's cool. It's cool. I tell people to wait for a sale. If you're on Xbox, wait for Game Pass. Goddammit. Wait for it to come on Game Pass. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your money.
I don't know, man. I'm thinking I still might, cop it for support because it's a regular price game. It ain't $70, so
right.
I'm mad I missed the PS Plus thing because it was like $50.
That's what. Yeah, I was just about to say if you pre-ordered it, you got it for like a couple bucks cheaper. That's what I did. So.
All right.
It was like $53 if you pre-order it.
How's the DualSense support?
DualSense support is actually pretty good. Good. Yeah, that's one thing that they got right was the DualSense support. So, except for the triggers. I turn the triggers. I'm kind of over the triggers. I just turn them off on every game now because I just don't like them like that. But the haptic feedback is really good.
Gotcha. I mainly like the triggers. Mainly, like I don't like them for guns, right? But I mainly like them for like arrows. I think bow and arrows they feel good. They feel better. But when it's when it's something that you repeatedly have to shoot all the time, then the triggers get a little annoying.
I'm just waiting for the real game of the year that comes out next Tuesday, Lego Star Wars.
Oh yeah, you've been waiting for this game for so long, yo, bro. All right, I hate to do this, right? So Dre, me and Dre, I would say we do a podcast every now and then. We haven't done one in a while, right? But we started it in what was it 2021 or 2020?
Yeah, I think it was 20.
It was probably 20.
Yeah, it probably was 2020.
This dude been talking about this game since we started that podcast, and I thought the game what is pushing this game back? Because it was supposed to come out before the next gen consoles. Then it was supposed to launch. And it was supposed to be like in the launch period of the next gen consoles, and then we just didn't hear from it again. And then now it kind of.
Yeah, that thing looking heat too though. All them they got a bunch of previews up. So if you're into that, man, a bunch of previews are
what
bunch
game
of
was
gameplay.
The Force Awakens. What's it called?
No,
it's just Lego Star Wars.
The Skywalker saga. So it has all the movies, right? So that thing looking heat too though, man. That thing looking fire. Cannot wait.
I'm gonna give it a try because off the strength of you. Yeah, that is a week from. It's like the first week of April.
Yes, it's next Tuesday. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. What else comes out next Tuesday? I know MLB The Show is coming out.
Speaking of that, you see that Xbox getting all them goodies, dog? Come on, and in Game Pass too. All
right, so MLB learned from the Forza Horizon 5 success. Remember how Forza Horizon 5 had the early access bundle was like
early access, yeah.
So they're doing the same thing with MLB The Show because if you buy the $90 version of MLB The Show, you get it early. You get this access to the game early. And so only way for Game Pass users to take advantage of that, it comes out the regular release date. But if you want Game Pass users to take advantage of that, you got to upsell them on the early access bundle, which comes with obviously early access to the game through your Game Pass subscription, but all the stuff that's inside that premium version of the game, which stuff, honestly, I don't care about baseball enough to want to play it early, and let alone to get all that extra stuff that it comes with. I don't know what to do with it, so it would be a waste of money for me. True that. So I'm gonna download it, do what I did last year, download it, do a couple modes for like 2 achievements or so, and if it ain't hitting, I'm gonna uninstall it and move on to the next game. The game I'm really looking forward to is the Weird West? That comes out tomorrow on Xbox Game Pass. That's another Devolver digital sleeper. But I think that's going to be a really good one. But the thing is, it's just we're going to talk more about MLB The Show and this whole subscription model because obviously the main topic here. There was
Hold on, man. You introduced Dope and Nick.
I did. I just didn't ask them what they were playing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just asked you what you what you were playing. But speaking of Nick, if you ain't sleeping, what you playing?
I'm playing Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
Oh yeah, you are playing Elden Ring. Yeah. I jumped in your game the other day. Yeah, okay. So you are playing Elden Ring and Dope. What are you playing?
Apex and Horizon.
How's Apex the next gen patch?
It looks good. 4K resolution. They didn't bring 120 hertz here to the game, but that's coming soon.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying that out too.
Horizon just got a patch today, right? Or today?
No, they still ain't fixed the visual issues. They try to blame that shit on people's TVs and stuff.
No. One of the patches they did improve performance. One of those patches did improve performance.
Yeah, that's performance. I'm talking about the visuals.
No. Improve the visuals of performance. One of those patches.
You talking about Horizon?
Yeah.
They said we're still addressing it.
It just got a patch today. Another patch.
That's what I'm saying.
And the patch notes, they said, we're still looking to fix those visual issues inside
they
performance
need
mode.
to get rid of that checkerboard bullshit, man.
Oh yeah, just in performance mode, right?
The thing is that their internal TAA just isn't the greatest. Like, I don't know what it is with their anti-aliasing with dynamic resolution scaling. It's just not working properly. A lot of edges on those surfaces
look
is
fine though. Like what they do.
It's obviously something wrong with this game in particular. Like,
well, Zero Dawn. But here's the thing though,
Zero Dawn's the old game.
Zero Dawn, was rendering at the checkerboard 4K, 30 FPS, but it wasn't. How can I say it? It looks fine in Zero Dawn, but the thing is, it's not. Because if you think about it, right? If you look at the 4K mode in Forbidden West, which is a cleaner image, right? It's hard to compare because you can't just say, because even now with the game running at 60 FPS, Zero Dawn runs at 60 FPS on the PS5, right? It would be the same checkerboard rendering.
Yeah, it has the same. Yeah, nothing changes except
It's just I haven't seen Zero Dawn on the PS5 yet, honestly.
The settings are still the same from PS4. It's just running at a higher. Frame rate. That's it.
It's just running at 60.
But the visuals are being pushed more inside Forbidden West. So because you're pushing visuals more, you're putting more of a stress on that game when you're putting in performance mode because it can't natively run that game for some odd reason at 4K 60.
For some odd reason, look at the.
It's a PS. Essentially, it's a PS4 game, though, right? What's the issue?
From what these fanboys are telling me, PS5 was already in A3. I mean, bullshit.
One thing they could have done, and you guys probably may not like this. They could have literally took just to solve that issue. They could have literally took the PS4 Pro version and have that at 60 FPS to be the performance mode. And I don't think anybody would have an issue with it because I don't think you will get the visual noise because that's been done. Like they'll take like the last gen, mid gen version of it, right, and then up the frame rate to 60 FPS, and that would be the difference in the visuals. It was just that it won't be as clean.
I think it's just their anti-aliasing solution. It just doesn't work well in performance mode. Once they get that ironed down and fixed, that should help out.
Yeah, but it works well in Death Stranding.
Yeah, those are older games. Those games aren't pushing the PS5 like how Forbidden West is.
Death Stranding had a PS5 version.
Death Stranding is doing different things, and that's an older game being ported over to PS5.
Yeah,
completely different designs.
Because Horizon,
even though they're using the same engine, they're doing two completely different things.
No, I understand that, but they've been patching the game and it's been getting better. So it's clearly something on their end, right, and not necessarily whatever's going on with the engine.
Yeah, you would think since they're responsible for the engine,
because even that game in performance mode, it still looks better than the majority of the games that's out there anyways.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree, but the thing is that a lot of the games that have a performance mode, right, this time around, and also trying to do that with the higher res than normal, they all have evidence of some sort of like image noise. To a small degree, Forza Horizon 5 has the same thing. It's not as bad though.
Visual noise.
Yeah, the visual noise. But the thing about Forza Horizon 5, what stands out on Forza Horizon 5 is that the popping is more aggressive. Like when you're driving at fast speeds, things pop up closer to the camera than it does in this resolution mode. Because it's like that would be hard to do natively, like at pushing the same settings as the resolution mode at 60 FPS, and so there's some sort of compromises being done. So I can see why. I mean, there was like, what's the best way we're gonna get? Like, we still want to have, because Horizon, I mean, visuals, you want to push resolution. They made the best choice to keep up higher resolutions and still deliver 60 FPS.
Should have just went with a dynamic resolution.
I agree. I agree. I do agree. It does because, but I haven't played it since then. So maybe when I finally return to Horizon, that would be actually all sorted out.
No, it does look better. The performance mode, there's less visual noise now.
Yeah,
but they're still improving it as well. So, but I played a lot of it in resolution mode. in 60 FPS, and after my eyes adjusted to it to the 30, or I mean, excuse me, 30 FPS. When my eyes adjusted to it, it wasn't that bad, but it was because I couldn't stand the visual noise in performance mode.
Gotcha. So earlier this week, there was this AMD news, and they've announced that FSR 2.0 Fidelity FX update being coming to Xbox, and obviously PCs. There was confusion about if it's coming to PlayStation or not, but I guess that's been confirmed just due to the game Forspoken having these features and whatnot. But it was another round.
I think Ghostwire Tokyo has FSR, if I'm not mistaken.
It has the current gen FSR. And I know they've been pushing Deathloop for it, so that game's gonna have it.
Isn't there like a 1.0 and a 2.0?
Yeah, 1.0 is the one we have now. Just nobody uses it except for like there's some games on PC. Some games use it like now, but it didn't get heavy like backing. That's why I'm like, why ain't nobody using the FSR?
Oh, there's no backing on console. The adoption rate is there on PC, but no one on consoles implemented it because when FSR came out, the console's already out and these games are already midway through development. Like you have to have FSR available in your engine early in development before you even think about implementing that into your engine on console, at least, because it's a different build.
That's why Forspoken is gonna have it, because they said they confirmed that, and then I think Ghostwire Tokyo has it, but I think they have
1.0.
1.0, and I think Forspoken is gonna use 2.0.
What does it do?
It's like DLSS. It's like DLSS.
It's an upscaling. It's an upscaling technique.
It's upscaling. Yeah. My bad. I'm gonna let you explain, Jay. But it's all I know is it's supposed to like upscale some of like the images or whatever, so you could get like better performance or whatever. But the upscaling is so good. I don't know much about FSR, but I know like with like the DLSS, which is they're almost pretty much the same tech, right? But I think it was like the digital, was it Digital Foundry or whatever? They were doing something with Death Stranding. They were running Death Stranding in 1080p, but with the FSR, right? And then they put the 4K, and then they were saying how the FSR made the image look better than the actual native 4K or some shit. It's some great. That's why like in the beginning of this generation, a lot of people were saying like, yo, don't rely on resolution numbers because of all the upscaling and techniques and stuff like that that's about to come out. Is gonna like like a game can come out as 1080p, but it'll still look like a goddamn 4K game with these new technology and shit like that that's going on. So, but I mean, I think Jay you probably can explain it a lot better than I can.
Yeah, so like Bless said in the chat, it's using temporal upscaling versus like whatever form of upscaling they used before. So like with 1.0, like the best mode was quality. Like the performance mode and balance mode did not look as great. Especially in distances, when you're looking at like level of detail and distance, it wasn't that great compared to 2.0 from what they're showing with that right now. Or even like DLSS. Like DLSS is just superior right now compared to FSR. But the biggest thing to notice with 2.0 is obviously is a much more sharper image, a much more cleaner image. Now devs have to know, hey, what are we going to do? Are we going to use our own internal TAA with our own engine, or just do FSR 2.0? But we have to see when 2.0 gets implemented. That's the biggest thing. Like it got announced. We have to see when the support and adoption rate of putting that into games is going to be. So I don't think it's going to hit console anytime soon until like later in the generation where these devs have access to it in their engines.
Or Forspoken, right? That's going to be the
Forspoken has 1.0, but 2.0 is to be announced.
Oh, okay. It has the 1.0, but yeah, like I know the next Switch is gonna have DLSS, which that's gonna improve it. And with like with technology like this, if it works as intended and we get the benefits, because it's also gonna help out with performance as well. You know what I mean? It's also gonna help out with performance. With shit like this is why I said like we don't need no pro or anything like that. Like we don't need a pro if we're gonna get shit like this that's really gonna help out. You know. And the only time that we need a pro is if we go back to 30 FPS only games without options for performance. Then I would say, yeah, we need a pro. But if we're getting fucking FSR and DLSS, well, it's going to be FSRs for the consoles because it's AMD. And that's really going to push it. And, you know, they're going to have all these rendering techniques that they can drop the resolution to get better performance, but the scaling image is still gonna come out like it's a 4K image and shit like that. Then what the fuck we need a pro for, you know?
We also have to see how it looks in motion as well, because that was an issue with
Right.
DLSS early on, was that in motion there was a lot of artifacting. It wasn't that great in motion, which they improved on greatly now. So we have to see how FSR 2.0 is going to do in motion as well. Is there going to be any artifacting, any ghosting, things like that? So
any muddy textures like VRS does and shit like that.
Yeah, we just need to see how it's going to perform in real life performances when people get their hands on it with different games.
Wow.
I definitely disagree. If that pro come out, come on with it.
You want it? You want a pro?
Hell yeah.
No, but listen, Dre.
Absolutely.
Hold on, Dre. Don't get me wrong. That's a day one. If that shit comes out, absolutely. But what I'm saying is, like, we probably will. I don't know. We got to see how it is in the middle of this generation, how everything is looking as far as
We
how
have to see. Yeah, by the end of next year, we should have a good gauge on whether a pro model is going to be an actual thing or not. Like, obviously, there's internal testing for it. Like, they're looking at, hey, if we were to do a pro model, what kind of performance we're going to target by that point in time when it's more viable to put out a more powerful console. But for now, a lot of people don't want to think of it as an idea, even though there's been leaks of it. Like,
it's good. Yeah, I already know what's gonna happen,
and I feel like people who want to buy it. Like,
and I feel like I feel like we've kind of like the whole power narrative and this versus that in terms of power has finally died down more and more and shit like that. But as soon as one of these companies offer like a new model or some shit like that, oh my god, you already know what's gonna happen. All these fucking power narratives and whatever.
If we weren't getting these damn cross-gen games, man, I would be okay. I would be kind of on board with y'all, but I don't know. I guess it's like until we start getting like next-gen games only to see what these machines can actually do when something is built, specifically for the hardware. So
let's think about.
I don't think these companies, well, particularly like Sony and Microsoft, cares about cross-gen. As much as Sony has been on there talking about how
it's gonna stop though. It's gonna have to stop.
There's gonna be a point where it stops, but I don't think they care. Devs do. Like, developers care about having to make a game for a fucking Xbox VCR and Xbox One. They definitely don't want to optimize a game for that anymore.
Well, so the PlayStation 2, because Spider-Man is confirmed next gen only, Wolverine next gen only.
Well, that's why I said
Knights of the Old Republic.
There's a delineation I made. I said devs. I said devs care.
So let's look at the games.
Sony doesn't care. Microsoft doesn't care because they're still making money at the end of the day. It's a business.
Let's look at the games that are actually only next gen, because there are a few of them that exist, right?
Right.
And that is
Ratchet and Clank, Returnal,
Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo. I don't
Demon's Souls remake.
Demon's Souls, and Xbox hasn't released if I'm not mistaken, they haven't released one that's only for Xbox Series X. Well, Flight Sim, that's the only one that. Yeah, Flight Sim's the only one that all the games that are next gen only start this year.
That's crazy.
Destruction All-Star. Yeah, we were supposed to get Forspoken was supposed to be like the first one of this year. That was like next gen, I mean, aside from Ghostwire Tokyo, we just had, PlayStation just got Ghostwire Tokyo, right? Which is next gen only game. But
is it really?
Yeah, it's not on PS4, which a game like that, like, even though it's not on PS4. That game can obviously run on a PS4. Yeah, that's definitely so. Like, we still haven't gotten. We've gotten a taste, right? With like Ratchet and Clank as far as graphics, right? Miles Morales as far as like ray tracing at 60 FPS or whatever, right? But yeah, I feel like we still haven't got like that one game that's like, okay, this is definitely different, and I don't see this running on a previous gen hardware like at all and shit like that. So, it sucks, and unfortunately, like the pandemic, I think this generation is going to be a lot longer than previous generations because the industry is behind. The industry is behind, and not only in like development, but also the chip shortages is really, really killing some of the momentum, especially for like PlayStation, because they say that they're having less supplies come out this year.
Yeah.
And they're having a harder time putting out supplies and stuff like that. So with all of that, I think that things that would have came sooner before in the previous generation is going to come later. Unfortunately, we're stuck in like within 2 or 3 years of this generation, there's going to be cross-gen games. But like after that, I think like after Ragnarok, at least for PlayStation, and then but Microsoft also has a next-gen only game coming out this year, a big one too, Starfield. Right? Yeah. And then Redfall, but we don't know if that's even going to come out this year or not. But yeah, I mean Starfield, not Deathloop, Forspoken, and Ghostwire Tokyo. But I think like after Ragnarok, I think like the major games going forward are gonna start being like next gen only and stuff like that. Which that's when the generation. Yeah. If we're in the 2023 and they're doing showcases and they're, you know, they mention Naughty Dog's next game or whoever's next game and they're still coming to PS4. Then that's when we fucking worry. Then that's when I'm like, all right, what the fuck are we doing here, bro? But yeah, I mean we've gotten some, but not enough in my opinion. We need more.
Yeah. We need more. So the a couple things as far as like sales has been like our good old friend VG Charts is becoming popular again. So
I wonder why.
So Xbox has been doing something lately that everyone predicted it wouldn't do, and that's been consistently outselling the PlayStation 5 lately. I got clown for saying Xbox has been dominating second place. But like no, for real. Like I've said that and people thought I was like it was like a trauma. It was like, nah, but I mean, not often anybody's gonna not often will, you know, these two beat Nintendo until the Switch starts to die off, whenever that might be. I don't know. But Xbox there's been cases where Xbox maintained second place, whether it be PlayStation in third or Nintendo in third. It had months where it held down the second spot. And lately,
that sounds crazy.
Lately, it's been doing it like, so for example, I've highlighted a couple times that, so the first time Xbox outsold the PlayStation, right? It was when it was during Ratchet and Clank, June, the month that Ratchet and Clank, and I thought that was surprising. Like, hey, it's a big AAA from PlayStation 5 exclusive, and Xbox outsells it. And that was when Xbox had no games for. It was real heavy for the next generation, because how do you launch a next gen console with no games? All right, so
Xbox had more stock for that month.
Okay, yeah. So I'm pretty sure Xbox did it again in like obviously I don't know if it was November or October. It was one of the months where they had their stretch of games coming out.
Yeah, they have more, and that's what this whole thing is. Is like they're having more stock, right? With like the Series S, because obviously the Series S is cheaper to produce. Because I just seen, well, it was a GameSpot. It was the other day. It was a post that they put up that says after a week live, the Series X is like still available in stock or whatever. So the Xbox are more available in stock for people to get than the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, you hear that, guys?
So they have
go to Walmart.com, get your Xbox Series X. There in stock. Go to GameStop, get your Xbox Series X, get your Xbox Series S. Go get them while they're hot. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, also, I mean, it happened in February. I mean, you know, PlayStation had like a couple bangers, Sifu and Horizon Forbidden West. Xbox ain't have shit but Crossfire yet. Yeah, I doubt that.
But they're sold out, but PS5s are sold out smooth.
I mean,
instantly.
That's not.
It's not. Right, but no, I understand. Like, no, it is what it is, right? Go ahead and and brag about it and shit like that. But this is not an excuse. It's just an explanation. There's a difference. It's not an excuse. It's just an explanation. You motherfucker, the shit is sold out, and the Series S is more readily available, so it has more in stock, so it's selling more.
Yeah, I mean,
whose fault is it though?
Yeah,
like, it ain't our fault.
Shout out to
okay. So obviously, right? Don't you think Sony would love to have 1 million stock per month or 3 million in stock if they can? If they can do it, they will. But they like they want more stocks out there, but they just can't do it. Like,
but the thing is, they had no problem in the calendar year of 2020. They got their games out like the first 2020, 2021. They were,
right, but it fluctuates. These things fluctuate when it comes to supplies, and it comes to like sometimes it's like there's things that are forecasted that shit gets in the way that they can't. I don't know all the ins and outs. That's why I don't really like speaking all too much into it or whatever. But it's like it's obviously is sold out. It's running out of stock. The Series S is outselling it because it has more in stock right now, and there's you could it's more readily available. The Xbox is more readily available than the PS5 as of right now.
Gotcha.
The true measurement would be like when they're both readily available. Then we see the differences or whatever, as far as like what they're truly gonna do or whatever. But as far as like the series that's selling, I mean, they're not really far behind in North America. They're actually pretty close. So they can actually
it's a 500,000 difference.
Yeah, if the series that and that could be a good move for Microsoft. Like since the Series S is probably easier and cheaper to produce, and I think they're producing more Series S than Series X, if I'm not mistaken. They could use that opportunity to really, to like catch up with Sony as far as like North America or whatever. So,
hey man, Sony, the PlayStation 4 was out in more territories. You know what I mean? So,
but we're on the PS5,
bro.
Yeah, it is what it is, man.
Yeah, excuses didn't work then. Yeah,
just let Xbox have its moment. You know what I mean? And it ain't gonna last long. So just let the fans celebrate, man. So let them celebrate.
I mean, the funny thing is though, the Xbox outsold PlayStation worldwide. That's something I used to get shit about all the time. Worldwide? What about worldwide? But Xbox actually outsold PlayStation worldwide.
That's what it's about, though. Worldwide.
Yeah, that's it. PlayStation is done. That's it. Xbox is gonna dominate.
Nah. PlayStation ain't. But I just thought I just wanted to highlight that. It was.
Is this a turning point for Xbox?
Oh, it's been a turning point. I said that.
It's always.
It's been a turning point.
Every time they have more supplies to outsell PlayStation, is always a turning point.
Listen, man, Xbox is the media darling right now, man. We know.
So now everybody wants to believe me when I said the media killed the Xbox One and social media.
You know what it is. What's that cat name?
Xbox One killed itself.
What's that dude named Destin Legary? When he said he's tired of reporting PlayStation dominating. I said say no more, man. I said say no more. When you have an open journalist come out and say, I said, hey man, what can PlayStation can't do nothing this year.
So can we agree that media bias exists?
It is what it is.
Because I was arguing media bias for about 8 years.
They called you crazy.
You talking about with the PS4 and Xbox?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Xbox One is dog shit though, man.
But the thing is, this Xbox attitude though is been Xbox, right? It's just that it's just being looked at in a different light. You know what I mean? Like Xbox been customer friendly. They've been consumer friendly. Shout out to Fame ENT Level 1 Gaming.
Not in 2013. They definitely weren't consumer friendly.
They weren't consumer friendly for a month. That's about it. After they did that 180, they've been consumer friendly.
For the whole generation because they kept releasing ass after ass after ass.
I believe Xbox One had some of their best games that just never got the opportunity to be played because people were too far up PlayStation's ass. Like that's like, you know what I mean? I'm thankful that I got to play some of these games.
No, in the beginning, absolutely. Because in the beginning, because I remember I was deciding what do I want, PS4 or Xbox. I wasn't gonna get an Xbox at all because of the whole always online. But then when they said like, no, it was a day one patch that gets rid of that, then I was like, all right, whatever, right? But I remember the PS4 was so right away, it got sold out right away. So I was like, you know what, I'll take an Xbox. But I wanted an Xbox anyways because to me, I felt like they had the better launch year as far as games than PlayStation. But a lot of people don't view it that way because Xbox was getting smoked because of what they try to pull or whatever. But Killer Instinct, Dead Rising 3, Titanfall. What else came out that year? Like, that was pretty solid.
That was easily the best first year of a console gen, and I give PlayStation equal props for having the best first year, as well for the PS5. But I feel like the Xbox One, that first year was like dope.
No, the first year in terms of gaming content, was really good for the Xbox One. This is why I was like, I don't understand how people weren't like getting on Xbox for this generation, because this generation, their first year launch lineup is nothing compared to what they did on the Xbox One. Like, they didn't launch with like no really notable big exclusives at launch or anything like that. Not like a Dead Rising or Killer Instinct or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So, but maybe they're doing the reverse, where Xbox is usually good in the beginning, and then they kind of like slow down. Maybe they're doing the reverse, where it's like it's slowed down in the beginning, but once they get the content, it's obviously they got a bunch of studios. Once they get the content flowing, then hopefully is consistency after that.
Yeah, they got no choice but to, because it's like after, I mean, like there's supposed to be some bangers. I'm praying for no delays for the games that are going to come out. That's supposed to come out this year, but if everything releases it should this year, we know 2023 and onward is. I don't want to hear nothing. No, like calendars, none of that.
Yeah, it shouldn't be no excuses. 2023 onwards. Xbox needs to. This should be the dry spell that y'all going through right now, right? This should be it. This should be it. After 2022, this should be it. Yeah. With all the studios they have.
The studios, they ain't producing shit.
Yeah. So, but I just want to give a shout. I don't know if I gave him a proper shout out to Fame ENT Level 1 Gaming. Saw him in the chat. I know he had a podcast earlier today. It's a shame we do a podcast on the same day, but he doing big things with Level 1 double XP, all that. So if you're still in there, shout out to you.
That's the joint. Logan, he write for them.
Yeah,
right?
Logan. Logan writes for Level 1 Gaming. Yep.
Sweet.
So, all right. Another thing happened. We finally got the reveal of Spartacus.
The weakest gaming service ever known to man.
There was a whole lot of rumors and stuff like this, and with this service, there's obviously a whole lot of feedback of what Sony should and should not be doing with Spartacus. There's a whole lot of like high level damage control as well, but obviously they announced their subscription service. The first thing people are going to do is compare it to Game Pass. How does it stack up? I'm going to start with people who have experience with both services. Dre, I know you no longer have an Xbox, which means I don't know if you still have a Game Pass subscriber. I know you got a PC, so you might still be. I'm not sure. But you've had Game Pass, right, before?
Right.
And you are a PS Plus member. I'm not sure if you're subscribed to PS Now, but essentially what this is a combination of both of them together in the more expensive tiers, apparently, right? So based off what we see for the reveal versus Game Pass, what is your thoughts? Where does it stack up? Where does it excel, and where does it fail?
Okay, so let me ask you a question first, Smooth. That'll let me get go into what I gotta say. So, what to you, what is the appeal of Game Pass?
I don't know. New games. It's just.
I mean, go ahead and say it, because we all know what it is. But I'm just going to ask you, what's the appeal to Game Pass?
It's just all right. The appeal of the Game Pass is obviously, I know all the Xbox exclusive bangers are going in there day and date, but it's not. But it's not just Xbox exclusive bangers. There's been third party day and date.
That's true.
In there, and that's in the intrigue, because I don't know. We get surprised. MLB is a third party game. Well, it's a first party game, just not from Xbox.
Right. That's true.
So that's also the appeal. Like Outriders was a third party. I thought it was a third party banger. I don't know how many hours I put in that game, but I thought it was a banger. So yeah, it's obviously the new games and then the relevant games of just recent new games that go into the service. It's not like just legacy games that just stays in there forever.
Right. So, okay. So if the appeal to one is that, you know, Game Pass is because of the day and date, then these new tiers, you know, obviously don't stack up because some PlayStation isn't doing, you know, their games day and date, which I have no issue with that. You know what I mean? I find no issue with that. If they did it or if they didn't, it wouldn't have mattered to me, you know, either way. But okay, let's say you take that out. I don't know if PlayStation can this is what I wanted, right? I wanted for PlayStation to do the third party route, right? If they could get like the big AAA third party games in there, you know, I would be cool with that. You know, time will tell if that will happen. I know they got 400 games coming in that they said. I don't know. To me, I think it's going into the collection because you know that the PlayStation collection you got with the PS5, right? With those games, that's where I think those 400 games are going because they said they were from third-party partners, right? They said every third-party partner.
Well, it's 700 plus games with the highest tier.
Well, that's what PS Now, right?
Yeah, that's PS Now just being thrown in there, shoehorned in there.
Right. So, but there's like from what the thing says, like 400 games that's coming in, and I'm thinking it's going into that collection, right? So, and I also thought I seen that they were going to be swapping games in and out. You know what I mean? So maybe that third party thing, you know, is happening, right? So that's cool if that happens, but I don't. It's not for me. Like if you're one who likes the backwards compatibility joint, this is all for you, right? Because that's basically all it is, right? You're merging PS.
It's emulation. It's not backwards compatible. That's another thing people are getting confused. They're saying, "Oh, it's backwards." No, it's emulation. It's not backwards.
It's the old generation. So
it's the old generation. It's the old library.
I just call it backwards compatibility. Yeah. Right. So if you into that, you know, this is for you. Unfortunately, this brings nothing new, you know, for people who wanted something new. I don't know how they want to make existing customers upgrade to the top tier. For those who don't care about that backwards compatibility stuff, well, not the old games, I don't know how they make somebody like me upgrade, you know, to the highest tier.
Were you ever a subscriber to PS Now?
So matter of fact, my PS Now expires April 1st. But the only reason why I got PS Now was because of Shadow Warrior 3. I wanted to play that for $10. So I was like, okay. That's the only reason why I got it. But, you know, they do have a lot of shit in there. I'm not trying to...
What are your thoughts on PS Now? Did you think PS Now was a compelling service?
I didn't use it like that.
You used it for one game.
Yeah, I literally only used it for one game. Like,
so like a user like you, the highest tier wouldn't matter because that's essentially what you're getting. Is you're getting PS Now thrown in there, so you can stream PS3 games, some PSP games, PS2 games, and then the other stuff you can download.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you were into those old joints, like you want to play them old joints, this is, I mean, I guess the highest tier is for you, right? Because the middle tier ain't giving you shit. I don't even know what the middle tier is for.
The middle tier is just PS4 and PS5 games.
Well, no, they said the middle tier is 400 PS4 and PS5 games.
Yeah,
that's is that the collection? Or
yeah, that's what I was talking about.
That's
right
PS collection plus third party partners.
But the highest tier gets that too. So you know, I like what is, so like
because
here's my thing, right?
Now added onto it.
Right, but here's my thing, right? So I was talking to J-Main, right? And he was like, the middle tier is there to entice people to, you know, upgrade to the highest tier because if you look at the pricing, even if you go by like month to month, it's only like $3 more to go to the highest tier, right? And same thing if you do an annual, right? So I guess it's enticing people to look at the middle tier, then look at the higher tier, and be like, why would I even pay for the middle tier? And so in their mind, they're thinking, okay, I'll just go for the higher tier, right? But in my mind, I'm just like, why even have the middle tier, right? Just have the regular PlayStation Plus and the premium.
They could have easily just price matched Game Pass on both ends.
I don't get that.
They could have just price matched. They could have just.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Are you done, Dre?
Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is pretty much exactly what I thought it was going to do. This was what was reported a few months ago with Jason Schreier, that all this really is just they're merging PS Now into PS Plus and adding the extra little bit bonuses and stuff like that. So if all of PS Now was $60 a year plus PS Plus $60 a year, if you pay for both services separately, it was still $120. So with the $120 a year for PS Plus Premium, you get a little bit added bonuses and shit like that or whatever. To me, honestly, I have to see what they do with the PS1, PS2, and the PSP games, because that's honestly the main thing that I'm interested in. I'm disappointed that PS3 games are still on streaming only. I understand it, but Sony can 100% do it. They just have to invest the money and the time and stuff like that to get PS3 games to work natively and download and stuff like that, right? They can absolutely do it, but they just obviously they're not fully invested in that and whatnot. So to me, with the older games, PS1, PS2, PSP, right? If they are somewhat enhanced and also they add trophies to them, for me personally, depending on the games that they offer, and that's the one thing that I really got to see. That's why I'm not really too excited so far personally, because I need to see what's the offering of these games. They already said some of the games that was going to launch. I think it was like Death Stranding, Mortal Kombat 11, Miles Morales and stuff like that. Those games are coming in at launch whenever the service launch and whatever. And yeah, I agree. I don't, the middle tier seems a little bit weird as well. And PlayStation's been doing day and date with a few third-party games. Like even way before Game Pass, like Rocket League launched day and date on PS Plus, and stuff like that. But it's like, I understand the marketing of Game Pass, the psychology of it has a lot of revisionist history going on, because PlayStation was the one that started the service shit. Was like PS Plus and PS Now, whatever. But Xbox, obviously, they made it into their own thing, and the main difference is that Xbox that offer more day and date from their first party, but PlayStation is not going to offer day and date for their first party. Why? Because it's not viable for their business. Just like Jim Ryan and a couple other people says, that they would have to fundamentally change things to monetize games if they put like $200 million games within their subscription services and whatnot. Microsoft has a lot of fuck you money, so they're willing to take the hit. That's why they're doing it. But companies like PlayStation and Nintendo, they live and die off of this shit, right? This is their main bread and butter, and PlayStation has gotten to the position that they're at following that strategy. The same thing with all the other third-party games as well too. Nobody's actually, Take-Two just came out with a subscription service for GTA.
Yeah,
you best believe nobody's pushing them to bring GTA 6 day one. Nobody's bringing pushing EA to bring all these games to their subscription service day one. That's not a trial or anything like that. So majority of the industry is not really doing that. Like, it's only 4% of the overall industry is actually gaining money from subscription services and whatnot. But Jim Ryan does admit that things can change in the future depending how everything goes. So yeah, this was never meant to be like a direct competitor to Game Pass, mainly because they're not doing day and date games or whatever. But it offers, if you think about it, it does offer a lot of value. It offers a lot of value because if you're paying $120 a year for premium, right? That includes PS Plus, right? So you get the online play and everything like that. And you're getting over 700 games or whatever. Obviously, you got to search through those games to see which ones are worth it from you. PS Now has gotten a lot better with their offerings, right? And obviously PS Plus is always killing it almost every month. But yeah, so like when you think about that, like Game Pass is $180 a year, right? With Game Pass Ultimate is $180 a year, then PS Plus Premium is $120, and it has more games. So just off that fact alone, it's cheaper and it has more games, so it's more value factually. You know what I mean?
But what about and one thing, another thing I don't like about the hires too. What's up with them locking out demos behind the paywall?
Okay, so that is something that they need to explain, because here's how I see it. This is how I see it, right? If with the highest tier is what we're getting in results is if we're getting demos or trials that we never gotten before, and because remember, the industry barely does demos and trials anymore. The only ones that still do it is
they're betas now.
It's Capcom and Square Enix are like because all of the Resident Evil games got a demo before they came out. Monster Hunter, right? The Final Fantasy games get demos before the 15, 7. All of them got demos before they came out. So to me, it's like if it's something like you're getting to try to me a better refund policy is always the best thing to do, because if you can play 2 hours and refund this shit, that's a trial right there, right? A better refund policy is the best thing to do. But if what we're getting in results is demos and trials that we weren't getting prior before, or companies didn't do it or whatever, then it's like, all right, I don't care. But if it's something like Resident Evil, like we got in a demo for Resident Evil 8, 2 remake, 3 remake, we gotten free demos for all Resident Evil games, right? Now, if they announced Resident Evil 4 remake, and then they said the only way you can play the demo on PlayStation is to subscribe to the highest tier, then that's when I'm like, on some bullshit. But that's something that they need to explain. So if we're getting demos and trials off of games that don't have demos and trials, or they don't put demos and trials anywhere else on Xbox or Steam, but you're getting them in premium or whatever, I don't have that.
Question: Didn't PS Plus used to have trials back in the day though?
Demos was a thing.
I mean, demos was always a thing for a lot of companies.
No, but it used to be a part of it. Used to be a part of PS Plus. Like PS Plus used to give you the option to do like a limited trial of a game.
Yeah, but it was only for,
and then they took it away.
It was only for certain games, like. But that's what I say.
Now they're trying to introduce that shit like a new feature. Like
no. Well, that's why I say they got to further explain that more. So that's why I'm kind of reserved on that and shit like that. But the only thing is, like, if you were a PS Now only gamer, the price went up $60 more a year, because now you don't have that option to only play for PS Now. But PS Now only had 2 or 3 million subscribers. Majority of those people have PS Plus, so who really was a PS Now only gamer? Now, nobody really. So you're not hearing a lot of pushback from that. But yeah, that like for anybody that is, the PS Now price is increasing, but the PlayStation Plus,
the only way I can see them justifying locking demos behind the paywall is if, like, let's say we try out said game, and then, like, if we want to buy that game, it comes with a discount, right? Like, if I'm paying to play a demo and then I got to turn around and pay full price for the game, like, nah, man.
You want them to at least do the EA
but
access.
They usually offer like usually a lot of if you subscribe to PS Plus, you get discounts and shit like that. But they need to do more of that. And as far as like the old games, like I said, I really got to see what they're offering, what enhancement they have, if they're gonna have trophies and shit like. If they're not doing none of that, then they can keep all that shit. You know what I mean? They can keep all. Go ahead.
My fault. Real quick, and then I'm gonna be off of this. But this was kind of unnecessary. Like, these tiers were unnecessary. You know, if you ask me, they should have just bundled PlayStation Now into PS Plus. You know, and called it a day. You know what I mean? And I don't know, maybe charge $100 a year, $80 a year. I don't know, but this all these tiers, all that extra dumb shit, it seemed like some unnecessary bullshit to me.
That's what people wanted. That's what people wanted, Dre. That's what people were asking for. They were asking for fucking to them bring PS. And I've been telling people, I was like, I would rather them separate, because you have the option, but nobody wanted to subscribe to PS Now because
I mean, I get the move. I understand it.
Yeah, because PS Now had a negative connotation that it was streaming only, right? Even though they started doing native downloads. They improve their offerings a lot, right? Of course, you're not getting a lot of day one third party games and shit like that, except for like I think it was Virtual Fighter was like a day one release on PS Now or something like that, right? But they've improved a lot. But what was everybody saying? Oh, I don't understand why PlayStation doesn't merge PS Now with PlayStation Plus and do this Game Pass like services or whatever. A lot of people were saying that.
They were.
Oh, and this is it. So this is what it is. Like I said, I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not too impressed by it, but I'm not like I don't think it's like trash all the way because it's essentially is PS Now going into Plus, and they just added a little perks here and there, which everybody was already expecting that anyways from the last reporting and shit like that. So it was I never saw this as a Game Pass competitor because like Sony and a whole bunch of Nintendo, right? A lot of people in the industry have said before, if they got to put these big budget games in the subscription service, they don't have the capital to waste money like that, like Microsoft. So they will have to fundamentally change and take, and quality would decrease and stuff like that. That's something that I've been saying before Jim Ryan said. That's something that other devs has been saying before Jim Ryan said it. But Microsoft is looking out for its customers as far as they're footing the bill and they're eating the cost and they're bleeding the money, but they're hoping that risk is worth it. And, they can do that, right? PlayStation, Nintendo, they really can't do that like that. Yeah, they have a lot of money, but they got a lot of money because they sell their games. You know what I mean? That's how they get their money. So
I'm gonna say this.
That's my thought.
My thing is because a lot of people keep saying it's not competing. I'm gonna say what Dirk Griggity said, but I'm gonna say it differently. The Sacramento Kings play in the same league as the Golden State Warriors, right?
Right.
They competing against each other, right?
That's correct.
One sucks and one is a championship contender. So it's the same thing with Game Pass and PlayStation. Even though just because it isn't matching it for every chart, it's still competing.
What's funny, Smooth?
Yeah.
You know what's funny, Smooth? When they launched this, right? Because they're taking PS Now out, and you can no longer compare PS Now subscription numbers to Game Pass subscription numbers. When they launch this in June, they're already the number one subscription service. Right out the bat.
Now.
It depends on how they.
Yeah, it's already the most sub subscription service as soon as the launch in June.
I mean, Xbox could have done that by just turning everybody's Xbox Live account into Game Pass, but that would have been they would have sought that as what's the word, predatory.
Yeah, predatory and the Trojan horse mechanism, which is what they're trying to do with PlayStation Now. It's like, oh, we just merged it, PlayStation Now into PlayStation Plus, so we magically have all these subscribers now. But I want to see the volume of people that's going to subscribe to that tier.
And by doing that, they're not seeing a new funnel of income. When Xbox did theirs, they still had their income they were getting from Xbox Live. Game Pass was just separate. And it had to start on its own ground. And then what they try to do is give people promotions. Like, hey, if you convert your Xbox Live into Xbox Live account, it turns into like a year of Game Pass and whatnot. But believe it or not, there's still a lot of people who didn't do that. There's still a lot of freaking Xbox Live users who haven't, who aren't Game Pass users based on just the Game Pass account alone. But I think what PlayStation's doing, and a lot of people just assume, they think, oh, we all want them to do. I don't care if PlayStation does what Xbox does or put first-party games. That doesn't matter. Only difference it makes to me if PlayStation put their first-party games is all right, if they do put their first-party games in the service, I will happily subscribe. If they don't, I'll just continue to buy their stuff a la carte. I'll just buy whatever I want to buy. Yeah. All right, because I don't I don't play all their games, but I was like, I'll buy whatever I like. But I say, if you tell me you're putting all this stuff in the service, then the thing is then it starts to allow me to try the games that I don't feel comfortable buying. Maybe I'll try a Persona or whatever. That's not first party, but you know what I mean. Maybe I'll try the games that they do drop that I typically don't buy day and day. Maybe I'll try it. Well, never mind. Neo is not first party either. But all right. Well, damn. It's still exclusive. But it's an exclusive. But let's say if it was, with their partnerships, I'm pretty sure they can get games like Neo and Persona and whatnot. They said
No, they said that every major publisher is on board.
Right.
They literally said that in the blog post. They say every major publisher is on board and stuff like that.
And that's
just
the only way. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the only way it'll get me to upgrade or anything.
No, but I don't even but they're not gonna put shit like Harry Potter and stuff like that there day one. That shit's gonna sell like crazy. Yeah. But you know what they are gonna put there day one? They're gonna put some of the live services games that they're doing.
To see that.
That shit's gonna be there day one. Yeah. Some of those shits is gonna be there day one. Like I said, they've been doing day one with indie games like Oddworld was their day. Yeah, it was their day one. Shadow Warriors. What else? A couple of Destruction All Stars and stuff like that.
What is their take on like PS5 games and PS5 versions of games in this service? Like, because that's the one of the biggest deals about.
What they said that they're coming too, but like I think they announced Returnal.
Like Returnal and Death Stranding, ain't it?
Yeah, but I don't know if that's the director's cut. If it's the director's cut, then yeah, that's the PS5 version.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but like Returnal obviously is like a PS5, so we're gonna have. I think maybe like after a year, probably they'll come out. It really depends on the sales and shit like that. Because God of War is gonna have legs. It's gonna sell for like 1 or 2 years or whatever. Well, they could put it in there earlier.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, the intriguing thing about Game Pass is like, if you're on a new system, you get you get the next gen version. It supports smart delivery, and then it helps that they have a nice healthy emulation technically it's backwards compatible if you own the game, but their legacy program with enhancing games.
It's emulation, yeah, because you're not putting the disc in to play them. So it's emulation.
Yeah, so their solution to that, I mean, it is also attractive because you get upgrades with them. I mean, shout out to Solid Rev. I watched his video and he talked about all these old games, but I know pretty much a lot of the games like with PS Plus, I know they just now started incorporating PS5 games with PS Plus, and then the PS Now games is typically PS4 games for the downloads that you get. But on with Xbox and Xbox Game Pass, it's like, whatever console you got, you're gonna get they're not gonna put the last-in version unless it's like a third-party game who don't support smart delivery. With typically 2K, they gave us a couple 2K games, but it was the last-in version of it. But yeah, I mean, I think this is good. I mean, like I said, I don't see myself subscribing to it. Like I'm obviously have a PS. Well, then again, I already have a PS Plus account. I've had PS
already
now.
Subscribed to it, yeah.
Yeah. So by default, I'm already subscribed to it. I don't know if I'll subscribe beyond the essential. Right, that's what it is. The essential is the basic one, right?
Yeah, and like to me, because I'm not subscribed, because like what Dre was saying is like, what's the point of the middle one? So I'm not. It's either gonna be base or premium for me. And to me, it all really depends on their legacy titles, or like the the PS1 through PS3. Even though it's I hate I can't stand that the PS3 is still streaming only, man. I want to play Metal Gear Solid 4 natively. It's stuck on the PS3.
Damn.
And you cannot play that shit anywhere else. You can't, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure you probably emulate it through PC or whatever, but I don't.
Yeah, you can emulate on PC, man.
But so to me, that's gonna be like, for me, whether I see it worth it or not, is the legacy titles, what type of enhancements do they receive, and if they also receive trophy support, because there was a patent last year from Sony that allows them to add trophies and stuff like that and stuff like that. But knowing Sony, it's like they're probably gonna half-ass it, because they probably don't give a fuck all that much about doing that for like older games or anything like that. So I mean, that's the only thing like I'm worried about, but we'll see. It launches in June, so they have plenty of times to like further explain things and give us a list of games and stuff like that. So that's when I'll make my judgment whether I'm truly excited. Like I said, it's not bad, but it's nothing really too crazy or great anyways, aside from the value, because there is a lot of games that you're getting, right? So the value is there. Nobody can say it's not valuable. The value is there, right? But yeah, I mean, I'm just more along the lines on the middle of it, and it's everything that I expected it was going to be, just PS Now bundled with Plus, but now you can't get PS Now.
Do y'all feel like it kind of feels like to me that like PlayStation was like pressured into doing some kind of subscription service?
Yes, Dre. That's why I'm telling you. That's why you said it's unnecessary, but they were being pressured into it.
Yeah. It's
who
like
bullied PlayStation into doing this?
Well, I'm just saying like it's because like the
media and all that.
It seems like it seems like the big players in the industry are going the subscription route, right? You got the EAs, the Ubisoft. Now you got Rockstar, of course.
Yeah, but not the day one route.
Right, but just some type of subscription.
Well, Ubisoft and EA, their services are day one because they're games.
Right. True that. It just kind of feels like PlayStation was like pressured to do this, like, and they're just doing this just because they got to. They got to put something.
Everyone's been talking about, where's your Game Pass competitor?
Right.
Blah 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 blah. So that's that. This is their response.
Yeah. So it's
they wouldn't be doing this if people weren't having that conversation.
Right.
Yeah. And obviously,
give Xbox credit for, got to give Xbox credit for that. I mean, they're doing it right, you know what I mean? And to them they're doing it right. To some people they don't see the quality aspect of it, but they did something right, I guess, right? To where Sony got their tail tucked between their legs or something.
But it's not even that. It's like, because like I said, PlayStation Ben had this like PS Plus, right, you know what I mean, and PS Now and stuff like that. It's that people are pressuring them to like put their games day one, even though they know that's not a viable business model for PlayStation, right? And the same thing, and the same thing with Nintendo. Like, nobody's saying that about Nintendo because they know Nintendo is gonna be like, yeah, fuck y'all. But Sony is more prone to like bend over and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like more so than what people think. Like with the PS3 stores closing, and even though nobody was using it, right? And a couple other things or whatever, but the media keeps pressuring them to do these things. But it's like, I don't really think that's what like to me it was never a big deal. Like either you buy the game or you don't, or you wait for a sale. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. So,
and can we address the elephant in the room? And I know I'm giving PlayStation shit for putting games or demo trials behind the paywall, but there's a small company called Nintendo, right? That is kind of doing the same thing. They have their subscription service and putting games behind the paywall, and somehow they reached 30 million, subscribers.
Yeah, their subscription is super cheap. It's like $20 a year.
Yeah, but nobody.
But you also got the family. A lot of people do got the $20, but you also got the family. Well, not the family, but the new the Switch Online. Actually, yes, which is $50 a year. And as soon as they drop that, their subscriptions increase by like a couple million after that.
I just wanted to point out that Nintendo always gets a pass, but I guess we kind of all knew that, though, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Nintendo systems are locked literally to the hardware you're playing. Right. Like, exactly. It's like when a new one comes out, that's it.
Nobody's saying, yo, Nintendo needs to put Breath of the Wild 2 on Nintendo Switch Online day one. Like, no, that shit's gonna sell 10 million copies at full price day one. And it's going to sell another 30 million copies at full price 8 years later.
Year 3.
8 years later. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo has like, I don't know, some like superpowers that, or it's hypnosis.
Nintendo, they just don't give a shit. They're like,
they do what they want. Man.
We value our products. Nobody else is going to tell us anything to devalue our shit. You buy it or you don't. And then the market gives in and they buy it. Nintendo actually makes the most profit out of everybody else.
Yeah, on everything from systems to everything.
They don't have sales, bro. Like, they don't have sales, so they just about to brute force your hand. Like, they not really worried about it. And they got a longer standing in the game, so I mean, ain't nobody really gonna question them like that. Like, PlayStation gonna get questioned, Xbox gonna get questioned, Nintendo never gets questioned. Like,
no, Nintendo gets questioned, but nobody does anything about it. It's all talk.
Yeah,
I mean, all these complaints is usually all talk.
Yeah,
and there's no action.
It's from like a very small portion of people, though. Like it's very from like like when you hear people complain about PlayStation, it's a mob. When you hear people complain about Xbox, it's a goddamn, like, it's a war. So it's like when you hear people complain about Nintendo, it's a very small, minute group of people. Whereas like those other people are just going to buy it. Like, and it could be 2 years, 3 years down the line, Breath of the Wild going to be 60. People still going to be dropping that down. Like,
well, it's $40 right now on most retailers, but for the longest time, yeah, it was just full price.
Yeah, $40. That's more than God of War. God of War came out a year later, and it's $20. That's crazy.
Yo, Nintendo, like, listen, like, there's a lot of things I disagree with Nintendo, but at the same time, I respect when they make a stance, and they're just like, this is, nobody is gonna tell us what to do with our products. Like, either fuck you, get away, and that's it. And sometimes I wish these other companies like PlayStation or even Microsoft had some of that attitude when it comes to certain things. There's definitely things that we need to get on them to change, but then there's other things that people are just bitching and complaining about that they don't need to bitch and complain about. That I wish like Sony would just sometimes be like, yeah, get the fuck out of here, you know, like Nintendo, but. You know, but we don't want them to get too arrogant or anything like that as well. Too, and they start fucking up. So, and even Jim Ryan, even with that post, he even like said that it's like, you know, we got to be pretty much fluid. Like yeah, we don't offer day one things now today, but in the future, you don't know what can happen. So
yeah, that means it's open.
So that means they're flexible. If the subscription service really catches on to where they see it, to where they see it's enough for them, to where they're not bleeding money or anything like that. You know what I mean? And like I said, Microsoft is willing to do that because they have a lot of FU money. You know what I mean? So they're taking the hit and the big risk up front for a couple of years until they grow and they can get into an actual pretty good, you know, healthy, sustainable place and shit like that. But PlayStation and Nintendo are not willing to do that at all, and nobody should fucking pressure them to do that at all, because that's how games always were. We always bought them shits, even when we had rentals, right? Even when we had Blockbusters and Hollywood Videos and stuff like that. Like, yeah, we would go rent them, but then
though, it's just like, I mean, like, that's
but they still they gotta make
but they never
changes
that option away from you. So it's just like, if you're still serving the consumer, like when there's like people are more worried about these companies than they are themselves as a consumer, it's like these companies are gonna make their buck. Like, they're not taking that option away from you where it's like, all right, you're never gonna be able to buy this game. No, you can still buy the game, but it's just for those people who may not have it at that particular moment. And there's nothing wrong with you getting to experience something if you don't have it at that particular moment. Like when we did rent games, it was because I didn't have it to buy that game. So like when I had it, I eventually bought the game. Like, it's the same mentality, but it's just done through a subscription service. Like,
let me ask Smooth a question though, and for any person who primarily plays on Xbox, right? So what do you think the rate is of people who actually, like, if a game goes into the service, right? And then what do you think the rate is of them actually purchasing the game, right? Because I think, what was it, like Outriders, right? We beat Outriders, right? And we, you know, it was in the service for like what, 30 days or something like that.
It's still in the service.
Oh, it's still in the service. So like, you can beat these games in this service, so there's no incentive of, you know, actually purchasing the game if you can beat it.
Most people on Game Pass. Most people on Game Pass they're not. Yeah, why would you? Like, you're already paying for a service, so why are you gonna fully pay for a game? It works.
But I'm saying, why
it works. It works for the. It works. Some indie games see a sales increase. But the AAA games, nah, them shits are gonna decrease. The sales are gonna decrease on that. You know, as far as like.
No, it depends, because you got to think about the circumstantial part about, like, the circumstances change on each title depending on how long you're gonna invest in it, how long so that will change. Like, if you're playing like an RPG through Game Pass, it's not gonna be there for fucking years. So like you would have to eventually have to pay for it if you have invested that time and money into it. So it's like I always buy.
Yeah, but it's not gonna take you years to beat that RPG.
Hold up.
And what's the likelihood?
No, that's not true. Because it's like that's not true because everybody's situation is not the same. So to claim that like, okay, it may not take you per se some years to beat the game, but it may take somebody else some years to beat the game.
Would it take you years to beat the game? You personally?
I mean, possibly so. So it's just like there are games that I haven't beat until like later on, and then I went back to them and I beat them, and then there are some that I beat right then and there. So it's just like it depends on like how your play style really is, what your lifestyle is. Like I just went like a couple of days because my birthday was the 26th. I have not touched my Xbox all these days until right now. So like that, so it's like everybody's situation will not be the same. And like I said, RPGs do take months to beat, and sometimes those RPGs will not be inside Game Pass for that long. They're there to get you like that demo taste, to get your interest, and then once you've invested, once they got you snagged in, you are in like you're ready to buy. This is like you'll have your small, shorter microwave titles, and then you'll have your long-lasting titles. Like it just makes sense.
No, but I think majority of the people don't buy the titles. They're either gonna try the game. If they like it, then they're gonna stick with it and beat it, and you know they got it through Game Pass. They're not gonna pay for it, or they're gonna try the game and not touch it again because they didn't like it.
Like, but I've seen some folks that I know who go to Bankhead, like they still buy.
Of course, you have some people, but I doubt is the majority of people who are on Game Pass.
See, look, I can't speak to the majority or like if they don't or if they do. All I can say is that different lifestyles will warrant different results. So it's just like if they have the time to do it, then they're going to do it. If they don't feel invested with it, okay, you're not forced to take this cash out of your wallet to buy said game when you can just test it out. Okay, this shit ain't working. I'm not about to waste my money on it. So the like it's not really hurting. Or like, I mean, yeah, like it's not really hurting. Like it's a demo. Like it makes sense.
My thing is that I haven't been in a situation where I felt the need to buy. Again, I thought I would in some cases. Like, all right, so the game I think I did. What game did I? No, I don't even think I bought Halo Infinite. I've done things like I bought into games that are in Game Pass. Like for example, I did buy the Forza Horizon shit, the early access. That was 40. I could have bought the game for $60, or I bought early access for 45 at a time. I've bought in games that I bought in games through the discounts that they gave you. There was a game that I bought because I knew it was leaving. I never downloaded it, and it was leaving. And I just purchased it just in case. I was like, all right, let me just throw this in my backlog. Cause I don't know when because the thing is, some of these games come back, but these are rare occasions. What Game Pass allowed me to do is if a game ain't coming to Game Pass, I'm more likely to buy it. Because I now have the funds. Because the thing is, before Game Pass, I would buy games that I know. I would have the list of games that come out for the year. Like, all right, I'm getting this. This is day one. And then obviously, if we game sharing, we kind of determine what games that we're buying. So when Game Pass in the picture, what it did was like, well, all Xbox games are just null and void. They're going into the service. So I don't have to set aside money for that. Now I can look at games on PlayStation and the games that I might be interested on Xbox, and that's when shit like Scarlet Nexus come to play. Had it not been for Game Pass, right, I would have never bought that game because I would have bought like Outriders or some shit like that or something else that I was interested in. But at this point, all the games at that point before Scarlet Nexus came out, all the games I was interested in, I either had through Game Pass. So by the time Scarlet Nexus came out, I was like, oh yeah, I'll buy this easily. You know what I mean? Because this is my first game that I'm buying of the year. Like, damn near, like, it's like, sure, I'll buy this. It didn't help. It went to Game Pass a couple months later, but it didn't hurt. But nah, like, I thought, like, for example, Outriders. I didn't know how long it was going to be in Game Pass. I was like, well, damn, this might be a short-term deal. So I put all these hours into the game, beat the game, and I'm like, am I going to go back to this? Probably not. So why would I buy it at that point? Right. It was like, I kind of, and for example, I love the medium, but I beat it. So I'm like, why would I'm not going to play it again. I'm not.
Right.
I barely go back to games in my backlog that I didn't beat. Why would I go back to a game that I beat already? So I was like, why? I'm not being convinced to buy these games. I felt like I did what I needed to do. It went into Game Pass. I played it, enjoyed it, literally played it through, seen it out, literally got my money's worth out of the service, and I went on to the next game. I did the same thing. I was like, I might buy the Ascent. Play the game, beat the game, enjoyed the game, but I was like, unless they're going to come out with DLC to it, I might not buy it. You know what I mean? If they come out with DLC, then I'll buy the game in the event that it has to lease Game Pass, because I would play the expansion. Now, for example, The Outer Worlds. That game went into Game Pass. I didn't buy the game. I played it in Game Pass. However, they had 2 expansions. Those didn't launch in Game Pass. You had to buy them. You got discounts for them. I bought them, and that would be me playing the game in Game Pass and then putting extra money into it because it has additional content that I had to pay for. Same thing with Forza. So stuff like that, Halo, buying points and stuff like that to rank up, ears and shit. I mean, it's free, whatever. But I bought some things to, like, I still put money into the game. Situations like that. But I have not really went into a situation where I played a game in Game Pass, enjoyed it, and then bought it after I was done. It's just like, there's just no reason to do that. Unless you just want to, like, you know what, I want to fund you. I want to fund this company. I will then play it in Game Pass and buy it on top of it. Like, I think that makes no sense. But
like, I say just personally for me, I like to buy my games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, yeah, I get them inside Game Pass. I'm getting to test them out, play them, and it's just like, okay, damn, like, I'm really enjoying this game, so I'm just gonna buy it. Like, that's how I see it. I see it as like a rental service. Like you rent the game, like you get the plan, but it's not like the time, like the window of time is way larger, and it depends on the game, of course. But it's just like sometimes you'll get a month in the game, sometimes you get 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. And I mean, yes, of course, in that 6 months you could probably beat the game and whatever. But it's like I like to spend good chunks of time in these games. So this is like I feel like I'll be playing the game even well after they're about to be like, hey, yo, this game's about to be taken out of here. I'll be like, God damn, like, I've spent so much time in the game.
Yeah, then you
except
buy it,
like the Goose Game or something like that. Yeah, like, so.
Sensor Thought says Smooth represents 99% of Game Pass users. They're not buying any game, while Sad Boy Blue just lying. See, I hate
fuck this retard, bro. Like, it's like I spend my bread how I want to spend it, Slim. Like, fuck you, like you in my pocket. Like, go ahead, Slim.
All right, so I don't like those takes, like, because clearly I told you the games that I bought. Like, so I don't understand, like this notion that if you're a Game Pass, you just don't buy games. No, I don't buy games that are in Game Pass. Like, I pay for Game Pass to play those games, so I don't feel the need to buy those games if they're in Game Pass. You tell me a game's going to Game Pass, okay, I'm subscribed to Game Pass. I'm paying for it. That's like me fucking like Dolomite Code comes out on Netflix. They telling me it's coming out on Netflix. That's like, I'm subscribed to Netflix. I'm already paying for Netflix. No, I'm gonna go and see it tomorrow. I'm gonna go to Walmart and fucking buy it. I'm only gonna I don't know if it's gonna be any good. Like, no.
Shit, I do that.
That's definitely when it comes to Smooth, that's definitely facts, because Smooth will buy these games. Exactly. If there was no Xbox Game Pass, he would be or if they don't come to, my bad, if they don't come to Game Pass.
Yeah, if they don't come to Game Pass,
if they don't come to Game Pass, he still buys a lot of these games and shit like that. He still buys,
like, I literally bought
or whatever.
Tunic.
But some of these other
Tunic's in Game Pass.
Yeah. Some of these other people, they always say they'll wait.
Yeah, they won't buy the game. It's like, it might come to Game Pass. Yeah, like, there's a lot of games that I bought. Like, I bought Mass Effect
Scarlet Nexus.
I bought Scarlet Nexus.
Yeah, Scarlet Nexus.
I bought what else did I freaking buy? I bought, like, there's a ton of games that I've actually bought. Like
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I bought all the Yakuza games.
Bought the shit out of that game.
I bought all the Yakuza games.
You bought
the Guardians game. So it's just
can
like,
y'all blame
I
them for that though?
No, I can't blame them.
Can y'all blame them for, like, waiting for like to having an incentive to like, hell, this game might come to Game Pass. I might.
No, you can't blame them, but at the same time, it's like you also can't expect every game to go there neither. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
But Game Pass got a lot. Like they've been getting like pretty good third party games and at a good rate. Like it's been a lot of decent, But
I know, like Crossfire X was fire.
Oh my god! All right, so Xbox and Game Pass, it's in this weird space, right? Where it's like for developers, I understand the question, like, yo, am I not valuable on? Am I not valuable on Xbox if I'm not in Game Pass? That's a really solid question. Because the thing is, it's like right now you can't say that because it's not a whole lot of game. I mean, there's 25 million subscribers. It's a lot, but there's a potential for a lot more, right? When you get to the point where the adoption rate is damn near 80-90%, you got to then consider if majority of the people that are on Xbox are actually on Game Pass, you got to consider you have to launch on Game Pass. That becomes like a real thing. You know what I mean? But the thing is, it's just like it's tough, and that's why you look at Xbox and look at the publishers they're buying, and that's how they're going to be able to do it. Because at the end of the day, I don't think Xbox wants to keep paying third parties all this money to put the game in the service. Because even though Microsoft has the money, that's expensive to keep doing. Like because they're not, Game Pass is not going to get every big game to release. That's the one. That is the one. If you're on Xbox, that is the one. You want like any multi-plat game, major multi-plat. If it can go to Game Pass, let it go to Game Pass because that's what's going to make the service more viable. Right now, indies are thriving and stuff. Like I played so many damn indies out of Game Pass games. I've like I beat this game, Memory of Blue. I
haven't even played that yet.
Yeah, it was it's a quick 1 hour game, but I was like, this is perfect. Got my money's worth.
So do you think the try then buy method is working? And I asked that because I mean, like PlayStation, like
no, it's not. It's not working at all.
Majority of third party is still bought on PlayStation, right? So is this try then buy work? Like
no, it doesn't. Working? It doesn't work. Like, they just told you themselves that they're not buying these games if they're playing them and beating them in Game Pass. So
majority of third parties being bought on PlayStation is a result of two things: one, Xbox Game Pass, and two, PlayStation having more consoles. So throughout, so the thing is that if a game's gonna come out on both on Xbox and Game Pass, don't let it release on Game Pass. If it releases on Game Pass, then that's an automatic win for PlayStation.
Yeah, but you can. I never liked that
consoles
attach rate.
Yeah. Well, more consoles doesn't always mean everything because PC has a bigger install base, and there'll be games that sell more on PlayStation than PC.
And that also determines on interest as well, like the entrance, and sometimes with PC players, like they're heavily focused on performance, and sometimes those games ported to PC aren't really performing.
The most popular games on consoles aren't the most popular game on PC. So that's
all PC gamers don't have a high-end graphics card either, man. They like the minority.
Yeah, they're like the 1%. The 1%ers are the ones that have like the 3080s and 3090s, but it's 100% on Twitter.
Right? 100% on Twitter.
100% of the PC players on Twitter have 3080s, but it's only like 1% of the overall.
So then how does Xbox like reassure these devs, like, if you put your game in Game Pass, you're going to
pay them. They pay them.
They pay them.
That's it. They give them
money. It must be like a flat out fee that they're paying.
Like they give them the bag. They give them the bag. That's it.
Like they're giving them the bag.
The bag of also, what?
This is like whatever their prediction sales are. Yeah. Like whatever they're predicting, whatever their sales are going to be, that's most likely what they're paying them. And then once they show kind of like the what is it called, like the interaction with their game.
Projection numbers.
Projection, but I'm saying
they'll say, look, we going to project that we're going to hit 3 mil. You can give us 1 mil, and we'll put it in Game Pass. When they come out, they might have already passed.
Here's a couple indicators that a game. No, look, Drake. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Here's a couple indicators that a big AAA game is gonna go into Game Pass. Right, one of the main things is how much Microsoft is going to pay them to put the game in there, right? Another thing is the pre-order numbers as well. A lot of these games that you've seen go day and day into Game Pass, particularly third-party ones, had really bad pre-order numbers. Outriders, MLB, like a couple of these games were not performing well whatsoever. Nobody.
MLB actually sold. Actually, MLB actually sold a lot on Xbox. Like sold.
Yeah, because it hasn't been on Xbox ever before. But if
so they couldn't use pre-order numbers to dictate that though.
But some of these other games, there was like, like pre-order numbers looking pretty rough. We're gonna throw that shit in the Game Pass. Like most recent example off the top of my head is Rainbow Six Extraction was gonna flop.
Yeah,
it's a service game. What you're not looking at, the main thing is most of these games don't thrive off of first month sales.
They thrive off of engagement.
Right. So that's why I think most of those games win in the Game Pass anyway.
And most of those games engagements die off within a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm
saying. Grand opening, grand closing. Those games.
So how does hold on, Smooth? I'm sorry, my bad.
No, go ahead. You good.
How does Xbox recoup that then? Are they banking on the subscription sales of game? Okay, so like if Xbox pays out said developer, but so if they pay like whoever 10 million, right? Because that's what they think they're going to make on Xbox, right? Then how does Xbox recoup losing that 10 million, losing that or paying that?
That's just an example.
It's an increase. It's an increase in subscribers. So if you throw more content outside of your first party titles, right? If you throw more like compelling third party titles in there, people are going to subscribe. That's the appeal of Game Pass. It's not just the fact that you're getting Xbox first party titles day in day inside there. Is that you're getting all these other titles as well, like a Scarlet Nexus, like a Red Dead or GTA 5 whenever they hop in there. I think Nier Automata is still inside there right now as well. Like you get these big titles inside there that you can play. You don't have to pay for, and then obviously you get the indie games as well, and then you have EA Access included with that as well. So you get EA games.
Not only that, but they also but not only that is like. It's also in hopes that subscribers also get into live service games so they can spend DLCs and microtransactions and stuff like that. That's where like a big chunk of the money actually comes from. It's not even the subscribers. It's like the DLCs and the microtransactions and stuff.
Let me ask y'all a question though. Like, and this is more so because I don't know. When they pay for these third party, like say like Sony get a third party deal with this Final Fantasy VII.
Yep.
Do you think it would have still sold the same amount if they wouldn't have had the marketing deal? Like
I've had that question too. That was good.
Like so, to me, it's the same thing. It's almost like a marketing deal when you paying these people to put the game in Game Pass because you marketing the game at this point, right? Yeah. I don't know.
So
this is how they can write that off. They can write that off as a marketing expense as well. The money that they spent for it.
There's a couple ways, and Dre, I'm trying to answer your question to the best way I can as far as like Game Pass and how they recruit. And there's a couple ways of doing this, right? Because especially if it's a multi-plot developers, the thing is that this is what Xbox can offer developers and especially independent people. And it's like, okay, we can essentially fund your game coming on Xbox, right? We still allow you to gain access to sell your game on Steam and on PlayStation. The only thing is they're buying it. You making your money there on Xbox. You're obviously is Game Pass, and then of course you can still sell on Xbox, but outside of Game Pass. So it's a two-prong. You're getting paid because you're going into Game Pass, but you're still going to get your percentages for people who decide to buy it because not everybody has Game Pass. You got obviously the day one approach, and then you have the shortly after launch approach. You got developers and games who are like, you know what? Let me maximize what I can get from your store in the first 90 days. And after 90 days, we launch in a Game Pass. So obviously their upfront payment isn't as much as somebody buying Game Pass or them buying a game to go into Game Pass day one. Obviously, because you want to capture that, that's a big deal getting it day one. And that's why you'll find these games that like a game like Scarlet Nexus came out in June, 3 months later in September, it was in Game Pass. It took 90 days. They wanted to capture how much the potential they actually had because it was a new IP. Bandai and Xbox is pretty close. They was like, you know what, I think this is the best approach. oh, let's see what we can do. Raw sells 90 days, and then the reason why I say 90 days because 90 days that's when you're going to sell your most copies. Is the first 90 days of release, and after that, it's going to die off. And then Game Pass obviously allows for a second launch because all the people that didn't buy the game in that first 90 days now is going to play the game. Take a game like Outriders, right? The magic that happened with Outriders, yeah. Square Enix was like, you know what? We're going to take the bag. We're going to put it in Game Pass. Pre-order numbers are low, whatever. But Game Pass can help us sell on other platforms for the simple fact that it's going to be in Game Pass. It's going to trend. People are going to talk about it. People are talking about this game, how they got access to. There's people who don't have Xbox. Outriders is this. Oh, it's on PlayStation. Let me buy it. PC, oh, let me buy it. And that's how it benefited them that way. I mean, the Outriders dev said they didn't benefit much, but Square Enix did. Square Enix definitely did. But those are like, there's so many approaches you could take when putting your game in Game Pass that may not even have anything really, may not be solely rely on Xboxes. That's why I was like, I don't see why devs would really turn it down, because typically when you're doing business with Xbox, it's like, unless you're doing exclusively with them, if you're a multi-plat, it's the best thing to do. It's like, all right, if you sign a marketing deal with Xbox, unfortunately, you more than likely have to go into Game Pass. Some don't, but it's why do a marketing deal if you're not going to go into Game Pass? It's like, but the thing is, if you're going into Game Pass, you're not just locked down to just that platform. You literally can have avenues on all these other platforms to make money. And that's why all these other devs who release games or went multi-plat but launched in Game Pass day one ain't got no problems, because they still able to make their money from PlayStation, still able to make their money from Steam, and then Xbox, pretty much when they launch on, they give them a bonus. It's your projections plus a little bonus that we think we can do that incentivizes the deal. So, Game Pass.
Man, because now that got me thinking, like, do you think, because, we've been saying, this whole time that, Sony can't do that day and date with the first party, right?
They can. They're just choosing not to.
Oh, okay.
They're afraid.
Do that with third party?
They can do it. Yeah, they can do it with third party, because at the end of the day, PlayStation 1 has a good relationship with third parties, and then you got to think about it. It costs Xbox more to get some of the same third party partnerships that PlayStation has, only because they don't have the numbers that PlayStation have. So PlayStation can negotiate a better deal, and they have the results and stuff to show it. Now, for a subscription model, developers can use what they did with Xbox as leverage and as like a learning curve. Like, all right, this is what we did. This is how Xbox negotiated with us. If PlayStation want to win, and then PlayStation is doing trials right now. They did Shadow Warrior. They did the Avengers and stuff like that. They did a couple games, right? But now that they're going full force with this, I don't think there's going to be a shortage of games going into this new PlayStation Plus day and date. They're going to launch with some things to incentivize people to do it, because they're going to want you to subscribe. They're not going to just launch this just for it to be there. They want you to subscribe. They're going to want people to subscribe. So if they're not going to do it with their first party games, they're going to, in the best belief, they're going to have first party games in there. Returnal stuff going to be there. It's not day and date, but they're still fairly new by the time that this program launches. Right. So I don't know how they're gonna do it, or how much money's gonna cost them, but they can afford to do it. They spent $3 billion for Bungie. I mean, they can afford for a timed
a couple million on a couple of different third parties for sure.
That's they can definitely to do it. The reason why they don't want to do it on their first party, because they bank on their first party. They're afraid. Right. They're afraid of what the people say on Twitter. So
no. It's not even that they're afraid. It's just
they're afraid their games won't sell.
Why would they lose all that money? Like, why would they?
Because they don't know
all that money up front.
Who said they don't know how to monetize it? They haven't seen a situation where they can monetize it. That's how this shit is.
That's why it's blockbuster movies. They try to do that day and date service type of shit. That shit didn't really work out, and they're back to doing it regular. You have to go to the theaters to see it.
I just think they were just too late, and I think Sony is just like, they feel like they're playing catch up in this regard. But
it's no catch up when it's only 4% of the overall gaming revenue.
Like, you got to understand, if their games are as fucking critical as everybody claims they are, and they get their awards, they get their respect, then why wouldn't you. I mean, like
because they're gonna
gonna
lose
wanna,
a lot of money. Like that
they're
doesn't
gonna
make
want to play
sense. See, no,
they're gonna want to play these games. They're gonna want to
y'all
play
gotta
these games, and
understand
they're
it's
going
not
to
a
buy
smart
them.
business
Yo, they
Believe
don't
me.
have
move
to
for
do it,
them to
yo,
do that.
because they make the money,
That's
just like
not
we
a
said.
sustainable with the amount of money they put into these games is not a sustainable
Well, yeah,
model
like
for them.
when you think about what
Multiple
who
people
was that
within the
guy? What
industry
was that guy said? Leighton,
have said
right?
no. I haven't said it. I have said it. No, not the Take Two CEO, Leighton, like other developers that you can point to. It's like
It's
that's
just
not
because you're old,
for
but
their
like
big games that they spend a lot of money
so
into.
much
Just like movies,
money,
right? You're not gonna
right?
get Avengers on Disney Plus day one. Why? Because they make the majority of the money when you go to the movie and buy the tickets, right? And people are willing to do that. That's how the the market dictates what people are willing to spend or not. People are willing to dish out 60
Like I
$70
think they just
for
underestimate
these
just like the
PlayStation.
customers and just like what the customer will and will not do.
Not because there
Okay,
hasn't
yes,
really
like
been
you'll
any
have
other gaming like gaming subscription that has seen like the insane amount of profits yet. There hasn't
I
been
mean,
one.
like you, like over time. I mean, you'll gradually see that, of course, because you're going to be having an influx of new people coming in. They're going to want to buy this stuff. They're going to want to experience it. I mean, shit, they're going to want to keep it. So it's just like to say that just that. Okay, like Smooth is not like 90% of like the people on fucking Game Pass. It's just like yeah, like I'm just not gonna buy the game after I'm done with it. Some people just like to have these things in their collection, even if it's not physical. I mean, like there's been plenty of times that I have rebought games over and over and over on PlayStation that I've had that I've traded in at GameStop per se. If I would have bought them digitally, I would have never had to fucking like rebuy them again physically. You feel me? Like, but that was just me in at that time. Like I like having these games digitally in my catalog just so like if I want to pull them out and like I could just like reach in, download and play. Like I think more people are really like that, but it's just like people like to downplay that one aspect about it, like with these subscription services.
I mean, we will see. I'm looking forward to see PlayStation's approach with third party on this situation because that's who's going to have to
Me
carry
too.
it. Because right now,
Yep.
as it stands, from what I can see,
Yeah.
is legacy titles that have to carry it. That's what everybody's kind of pushing on when they mention all these games, 750 games. It's all pretty much legacy games. But I want to see how they're.
That's really the only thing that like that's the only thing that I wanted from the service. Not no day one, games or anything like that. It's like, yo, if you could give me a lot of these legacy titles like Legend of Dragoon, like Legend of Legaia, like Xenogears, like all of my favorite classics, right? Enhance them in some type of way. I'm not saying you got to go all out with the enhancement, but enhance them in some type of way on top of possibly retroactively putting trophies in there, like one of the patents suggested last year. That's all I really would like. That is the type of service that type of service that's for me. That's like my type of service. That's specifically for me because I don't have none of my old games. I don't have none of my old systems. If I wanted to play Breath of Fire 4, which is no longer on PSN for PS3, right? I have to get a PS1 or PS2 that plays PS1 games and then pay $150 for a used copy if it works. You know what I mean? So my bad. Go ahead.
So Chris, so let me ask you then, how does PlayStation get an existing customer to upgrade to the higher tiers?
For somebody not like me?
Right. Yeah. My fault. Yeah. So somebody who doesn't
Like more
do
like casuals and
the
stuff
old
like that.
Yeah. Right. Somebody who doesn't do the old games and stuff like that. Like how does somebody like me? I'll put it like that. How do they get me to upgrade?
I mean, I don't know. It like depends on like what type of games you're into. Like, I mean, I'm sure day one games will probably be the biggest one, right? But they're not gonna do that, obviously. But with some games they made, like maybe the Last of Us faction could be one of those day one games. You know what I mean? That makes you like, I can subscribe to this or whatever. But even then, you would just only need the base one, right? You only need the base PS Plus. You wouldn't need premium. So it really comes down to the content of the games and the flow of games of what they offer. Yeah, it's not going to be all day one first party games, but if they offer like newer third party games or newer indie games, right? And then you don't have to go out there and spend you know, the 30, 40, 60, you know, possibly $70 for some of them games, then yeah, it's going to have to be the newer content that releases within the services for you, you know, and for a lot of other people too, for me as well. But it really depends on how they deliver, you know what I mean? How they roll this out, how they deliver and shit like that. That's something that we're going to have to see. Like, do they truly really care about the service, or are they just doing it just because everybody asks for one, you know? So.
Yeah. All right, though. We can get ready to get out unless you guys got some closing statements in regards to the gaming news this week. I got the last round of question. What happens with PlayStation tomorrow on 3?
Shit, I don't know, man.
Nothing.
I don't think anything's happening.
No Konami, no FromSoftware.
Nah.
I doubt it.
Nah, hell no. I don't think that the Konami shit. I think something is going on as far as PlayStation is trying to get some of their IPs to make them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I think that has some weight to it, but no, from software, no, because they will have to buy Kadokawa, or unless Kadokawa is willing to sell them, and I don't know if Sony's willing to buy Kadokawa, but I also say no because there has yet to be one time where people have come out for PlayStation or Xbox that says, hey, this is the rumor, this is the company that they're going to buy, and then it turns out that way. All of the acquisitions have been stuff that we weren't expecting. We didn't see Bungie. We didn't see Activision. We didn't see Bethesda. Nobody was calling these shits, and then the ones that people called out, it never happens. So the fact that there's this like rumor going on, to me, that means that it's not happening. It's like the kid Smooth effect. Just believe the opposite when he makes a bet. You know what I mean? But yeah, so there may be something, an announcement, but I don't know, man. It is what it is. But PlayStation for the past couple of weeks, they have been on a roll as far as like constantly having some type of announcement or update, whether it's a state of play for, you know, for GT7 or Ghostwire Tokyo, you know, update, or you know, this another third party state of play that they had a couple weeks ago. So they have been, and then obviously a couple of acquisition announcements, Bungie and stuff like that. So they have been on a roll as far as announcements. So, you know, maybe they're trying to keep that momentum, and obviously they did it yesterday. Was it yesterday or today with PlayStation Plus announcement?
So, I don't know. I will say now that I don't. For the foreseeable future, it looks like PlayStation isn't going, you know, any kind of route of, you know, day and date of anything. So I will say that, you know, I myself was saying that you know, maybe they should look into acquiring some kind of publisher, right? But now it doesn't seem like they're going, you know, that route. So I don't know about that anymore. But
it really depends on how the market shifts. If the majority of the market in the next couple of years, if a lot of the market starts to go more into subscription, right? Because majority of the market is not into subscription, right? But if a lot of them starts to go into subscription, to where it's like starting to like overtake sales and whatever and shit like that, then yeah, they will have to adjust. Which Jim Ryan said that, you know, they have to be flexible and on their toes and shit like that. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that happens, if that happens. I just hope that, you know, no game design aspects of it is impacted, but we'll see.
All right.
If nothing gets announced by, let's say, what time does PlayStation normally drop a tweet? What?
It has 9, to be first thing in the morning, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 9, 10 o'clock, something like that.
If we're by 1 o'clock, then nothing.
Yeah, if it's 1 o'clock, yeah, I ain't expecting nothing.
All right then. We could do our outro. Sad boy, man. I know you came through a little late, but you know you got your bars off, man.
Yeah, nah. Like I appreciate it. Sir Dre up in the thing, you feel me? Like the homies here. Like it's been slow for me. I haven't really been keeping up with any news. Like I saw like the PS Plus thingy Spartacus shit. I was like, So should I kept it moving? Like I didn't know what else exactly happened. Should there haven't been any games that's been like dropping like that per se? Should besides like the Tunic and the Elden Ring? That's just what I've been investing my time in.
You ain't get that Kirby? You ain't get that Kirby?
Back in here. No, Kirby looks dope though. Like I looked at Kirby, I was like, damn, that shit looks amazing. Like so, I was like, shit, I may buy a Switch. Like so it was No, but it's like, I mean, I'm enjoying Tunic. I'm enjoying Elden Ring. My birthday was a couple of days ago, so I just been kicking it with the lady. You feel me?
Happy
so
birthday.
I haven't been, thank you. I'm 31. You feel me? So shit, I'm getting up there. You feel me? like shit. So, but nah, man. Should I just been enjoying gaming? Should I hope everybody's been out here safe and just enjoying your gaming? That's it.
Awesome, man. Dre, what you got going on?
Nothing, man. Just cooling, man. Getting ready for this little one to come in about a couple months.
Nice.
Hey.
That's about it. Been trying my completed games list. So I'm ahead. At this time last year, I'm ahead in my games completed list. So it looks like I'll be surpassing what I did last year, which is cool. I don't know. I just ain't been made a couple videos on the channel. That's about it. Twitter, nothing too heavy, man. Good catching up with you guys.
Yeah, as always. I think I only got like 8 games beat on the year, so I think I'm behind or something like that. But I said
you only got 12. I'm at 12.
I was like, I casualed out, and that's all because of Elden Ring, because a whole month went to that. Man, Chris, you got anything going on?
Not much really, man. Just playing the Goldie. Well, yeah, now for sure it is, because since Breath of the Wild 2 is officially delayed into spring 2023. It's solidified, Elden Ring Gotti this year.
Wait up, hold up, Chris. You don't think God of War coming out? You don't think God of War coming out?
God of War is going to be a Game of the Year contender.
Wow,
absolutely.
You don't think it's going to beat? You don't think it has a chance to beat Elden Ring?
For me, I love God of War. Listen, I'll say this, for a lot of people, yes. But for me personally, most likely no, because
remember 2018. That's all I'm gonna say. Remember 2018.
Right. But Elden Ring has a crazy impact right now. Like, it has a crazy impact on a lot of people, a lot of general has a 9. You know what I mean? I understand. It's like, that doesn't matter, right? But to me, it's like what God of War is gonna do significantly different from the sequel. That's really gonna, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna sequels are really hard to, like, really impress people, especially when it's like it's just more or less the same, but obviously it's gonna be improvements and shit like that. You know what I mean? So, and then Elden Ring had the way Elden Ring, I don't like, for people that play both of them. Yeah, there's gonna be people that are like, God of War, that's my shit, right? God of War Ragnarok is definitely gonna be a Game of the Year contender. Just like Horizon Forbidden West absolutely deserves to be nominated Game of the Year contender as well. But when it's all said and done, I think Elden Ring is going to remain the top. I really don't see. I don't think Forspoken is going to be no Game of the Year. And I'm one of the ones that I'm looking at the gameplay, and I'm actually liking what I see. Like, I'm not like everybody else is like, it looks rough or whatever. But I'm digging some of the shit that I'm seeing, but I don't really think that's really going to hit people that much. But Harry Potter, that game, I think that game is going to hit a lot of people pretty well. And then obviously we got to see more of what the hell's going on with Starfield. Yep. And that might be that might be something that hits as well too. So, but I don't think they're gonna hit as much as Elden Ring. I don't think it's gonna hit as much as Elden Ring. And then next year, Breath of the Wild 2 is, that's already game. It's gonna be Breath of the Wild 2 and Final Fantasy 16, Game of the Years.
I don't think
And
Final
Spider-Man
Fantasy 15 would get it, but I feel like
and Spider-Man
like
2.
that Breath of the Wild will get it though. That's for sure. Like
we will.
I don't know. Has a Final Fantasy game got Game of the Year before? I don't remember.
Maybe a
I don't
long
know,
time.
very
ago.
Probably
long, but
7.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think as far as that, I think Todd Howard's game is gonna get it. I think that's going to be the
You don't like Todd Howard games, Smooth.
hey,
You don't like Todd Howard games.
Todd Howard would be winning it for Xbox, and he will be winning it for Forza Horizon 5. Who should have won last year.
I don't think Starfield's being Elden Ring.
We'll see. It depends if it.
Ain't the rumor that it might get delayed?
I think it's gonna get delayed, but we'll see.
If it gets
We'll
delayed,
see.
I'll be heartbroken because that means Xbox ain't got nothing.
Ain't got shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then yeah. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But thank you guys for watching. It's been a pleasure. Episode 98. I don't know what I'm gonna do for episode 100 or 99. I'll see if I got some time to do something.
Man.
Please hit the like button. You know what I mean?
Please hit the like button, yeah.
Please. As always, guys, Xbox is the best box. I am the best bot. Good night or good morning if you're on the other side of the globe. We're out of here. Peace.